We are about ready to get started. Are you ready, Connie? Sorry.
ma'am, you're up.
If I could ask everyone to please rise for the invocation. Pastor Robert Simmons, my pastor, is here today to give the invocation and our pledges, please. Thank you.
Would you bow with me as we pray? Lord, as we come before you today, I thank you for the awesome privilege of being able to talk to you and know that you hear. Just the idea that the God of heaven cares about what's going on here. And Lord, I know you care deeply about what goes on in this world. And Father, you care about what goes on in this place. And I pray, Lord, that you would bring absolute justice. I pray, Father, that you would bring fairness of balance. I pray, Lord, that you would cut through, Father and God, the spiritual forces of evil. And Lord, that you would reign triumphant. You are the Lord God. We praise you, we give you glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. It is February 7th. It is 9:07. We have all the commissioners present at 901 Leopard, the Nueces County Courthouse. We are ready to move forward. Moving on to item D, announcement on disclosure of conflicts of interest. I would like to announce on G1, I will be abstaining, but that's pretty obvious. My husband is the applicant, so I will not be voting on that one. Are there any other conflicts for anyone else? G1 on the Airport Advisory Board. And if you find out you've forgotten about one or find one later, you can always disclose at that time when it comes up on the agenda. Moving on to item E, adopt the following resolutions in recognition of the month of February 2024 as Teen Dating Violence Prevention Month. And we have Ms. King here. She is going to read that resolution.
Commissioners Court Proclamation, Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month of February 2024. Whereas teen dating violence is an issue that disproportionately impacts our youth, affecting 1 in 10 high school students, almost triple the national rate of adult victims. Whereas nearly half of the teens experience this abuse at school, and only a third of the teens reported. Whereas, although teens who experience the dating violence are more likely to develop risky behavior and suicidal tendencies, far less research is focused on this vulnerable age group. Whereas, teen dating violence can be prevented through education on healthy relationships, community awareness, and advocacy. Whereas the establishment of Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month will give a voice for safety and welfare of our youth, their families, and the community we serve. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Commissioners Court of Nueces County does hereby proclaim February 2024 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and further urges the citizens of Nueces County to empower our youth toward healthier relationships, increase local resources for effective intervention policies and protocols in our schools, and promoting awareness and prevention of teen dating violence.
Thank you, Ms. King.
You're welcome.
I'll accept a motion and a second.
So moved. Oh, second.
I'll second, or you're the, yeah, okay. No, thank you, Commissioner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Do we have anyone here also from the groups or anything that wishes to speak? Yes, please, if you want to come to the podium, announce your name and address too, please, or just announce who you are in your group. Yes.
Hi, my name's Angela Luna. I work with the Juvenile Probation Department, Victim Services. And as our motto says, is that we work hard to change kids' lives, and some of those kids are victims of teen dating violence. So we want the county's support and recognition that we have resources available for those kids.
You're doing an awesome job. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
what you'll do there. Yes. Sorry, I saw you over there late.
Second.
We've already had a motion and a second and voted, so yeah, we're good. We will have a resolution that we can give y'all after it's signed for you to have on that too, so thank you. Moving on to public comment, we have some people have signed up. If you came in late and didn't have the opportunity to sign up, we will ask at the end if anyone else wishes to speak. So I think I saw a couple people walk in. Mr. Ortiz, Joe Ortiz.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Joe Ortiz. I live at 2505 Pereza. And I'm here because Commissioner Maris invited me to get involved in Commissioner's Court. But I kind of find it a little strange that the doctors that he negotiated with against Spahn, and, you know, I think y'all gave him something like 20-some odd $million, and now they're making a fundraiser for him. The perception is that that's not good, John. The perception is bad. Secondly, I was also notified, and I got the press release right here, that the two commissioners, port commissioners that you installed there also made you a fundraiser, you know. And to me, the perception is, are you selling your votes to the commissioners? That's bad. It's not good, especially for you, John. You're the one that voted for them. And thirdly, why do you want so much money after you having a second job that pays you 6 figures in Kingsville? I thought you're as a commissioner, it's a full-time job. So where's your loyalties, John? Thank you so much for inviting me to come and get involved in the court. Thank you, John, and see you in the debate tonight.
Can I ask a question to our county attorney? I appreciate you, Mr. Ortiz, thank you. But this seems more like a campaign thing. Is there any rules against that or something?
Generally, the court does not allow someone to come in and say
Yeah.
some things.
I would assume, yes.
However, there was no actual campaigning on behalf of the speaker, and so I'm not sure that that would be a prohibited thing from the court.
Okay. I just need a clarification.
Well, the shots were definitely political, I mean, it's okay.
We're not supposed to respond, aren't we?
No, I just asked a question from our attorney. Steve Gomez.
Good morning. How you doing? Steve Gomez, 6630 Clarion Drive. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Breesy Village TERS. Hopefully a vote that you'll be taking today. We've been dealing with this on behalf of Faro Valley and the city for more than 10 years. The only delay that we've been having is pursued or continued on this has been a federal lawsuit, multiple state lawsuits delaying us continuously throughout trying to get this done. So I want to give you some current related facts connected to this. What's happened is this golf course has been closed, and in order for us to make the change, we had to go to Austin, get the law changed, because about, I think, 800 golf courses at the time is shut down. And these properties like ours in Faro Valley and the one here within the city is deed restricted. You have to have permission by the neighborhood. We had to get 75% because of the way Texas looks at property. 75% approval. We did that at 83% approval of in a neighborhood. 109 homes, 66 properties in 2 different condominiums. That's 100, add those 2 numbers together. 118 condos in another one, 2 apartment complexes and the owner. 83%, 75% we achieved at every level throughout. The neighborhood is for this. But how long can we pursue this? We've been waiting for 10 years. You're one of the key factors to help us keep this going forward. So let's talk about what's happening right now. I helped these guys to get this thing done and close the deal to get this property in Mr. Blackard's hands. The sale was around $1.2 million. What that breaks down to is about $46 per acre. That's all that you're getting in receipt from that open field classification of 126 acres. $46 per acre. My neighbor and myself, and I'm an old guy, collectively, we're paying over the $7,888 that you are collecting on that property right now. That's it. The conclusion of this thing is going to be about $93 million, according to the studies from Texas A&M University, Dr. Lee. What that's showing us is that you're going to get about $1.5 million over the lifetime of this TERS. It's going to create about 1,100 permanent jobs. There's going to be around 6,000, pretty close 6,000 jobs throughout the period of time upon which we're going to collect taxes from all those workers and contractors. What's the holdup? My goodness, we've done this long enough. The numbers bear out the rationale for doing this because you will exceed $46 per acre. The house I'm on and my neighbor's house is about a half an acre. And you're getting more than $8,000 from just the 2 of us. And there's 109 homes, 3 different condominium sets. What is it going to take for us to help the city understand how long can we expect this developer to keep doing this? And finally, there's a deed restriction. And in that deed restriction, you can't do anything other than what has been voted and we approved. I don't think you'll get us to approve this again if you stop us now.
Thank you, sir. Craig Peterson. State your name and you know the drill.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Craig Peterson. I live at 15630 Gypsy Street. First, I want to thank the Commissioners Court and its members for the support they've shown the EM residency program over the last 3 months. Without your continued efforts and commitment, we simply would not have been able to secure the agreement between Christus Spawn and NCHD. You've taken action and truly represented the interests of your constituents well. I want to give special thanks to those individuals who have served on the Special Advisory Committee and to Judge Scott, who had the foresight to create the committee. Clearly, getting everyone at the table is crucial to the development of a lasting strategy for emergency care in Nueces County. I realize that the Commissioners Court has a tremendous list of responsibilities, including budgets, salary decisions, contracts, building maintenance, roads and bridges, as well as others. In addition to potable water, consistent electricity, and safe roadways, citizens deserve access to reliable, high-quality health care. For those in crisis, emergency care in the ER can be life-saving, and the citizens of Nueces County need to be able to trust that the physicians that will be caring for them will have the resources, personnel, and capacity to care for them. Specifically outlined in the description of office for the County Judge of the Nueces County Commissioners Court on their website is a responsibility for emergency management. Any day in the ER can be demanding, but larger scale disasters and accidents can quickly outpace the capacity of ERs in our city. Already, the emergency medicine residency has proven indispensable with disaster response during Hurricane Harvey, as well as emergency staffing for mass casualty incidents. The NCHD's decision to support and preserve the residency was crucial to maintaining the city's emergency preparedness, and Judge Scott was absolutely right to form this committee as part of her role in emergency management. Just as with other utilities, the medical infrastructure within a county warrants careful attention and planning. This court has taken great steps towards securing emergency care in the long term, and I am very thankful. But emergency care is not enough. We need robust primary care. We need psychiatric care. We need to recruit medical specialties that we currently don't have robust access to. A county that is committed to providing and securing quality health care will become increasingly attractive to potential recruits in those medical fields that our community needs. Once they are here, they will love it. The faculty of the emergency medicine residency love it here, and we have no plans to leave. Please continue to involve the physicians practicing here, the community leaders and stakeholders, and the Nueces County Medical Society, all those with a vested interest in the excellence of the medical community here in our county. Together, we can push the medical capabilities forward to the benefit of all of us who live here. Committees such as this one should be a permanent fixture, helping to guide the decision-making and next steps for the county's healthcare resources with input and discussion from those providing as well as receiving care. Dissolving this committee will not advance the healthcare of this community, and through the opportunity cost of lost collaboration may cause lasting harm. And remember, first, we must do no harm. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Broden, sorry.
Good morning, County Commissioners and Judge Scott. My name is Michael Brodeur. I live at 15729 Escapade Street. I'm one of the ER docs on faculty with the residency. The urgency with which this court and NCHD worked to help secure our county's ER training program was unprecedented. It had literally never been done before. We've now been contacted by doctors from across the state as well as the country asking how this was accomplished. So I thank you for backing up words with deeds. An indispensable key to all of this was the grueling work done by the Emergency Medicine Committee that Judge Scott quickly created within a week of the closure announcement. Those from the Commissioner's Court, NCHD, community, and my own ER program worked tirelessly on this committee and achieved a remarkable outcome. In fact, within 24 hours of the NCHD agreement, we filled all of our December interview spots. And in fact, today we are interviewing right now, which is why you don't see as much of a sea of white coats. They are literally interviewing applicants right now. Now the dissolution of this committee is up for discussion today, and I'm here to say that while immensely grateful for work done up to date, we are still searching for a longer-term solution that will secure ER training in the Coastal Bend. I find it curious that Commissioner Gonzalez, one of the commissioners not on the committee, is the one listed publicly as having this item submitted. I find it odd, given the security to ER training achieved thus far, that Commissioner Gonzalez would want to dissolve this committee. Given his past history of dedication to the health care of the citizens of Nueces County, I find this odd. On August 26, 2021, JAG said, "I'm running for re-election because I want to continue to work hard for the people of Nueces County. Every person in Nueces County deserves access to quality health care." On March 1st, 2022, JAG was quoted as saying, "The health care of every person in Nueces County has always been one of my top priorities." On December 12, 2022, JAG, referring to a healthcare service project he had been working on for over 2 years, way longer than the amount of time that this current Emergency Medicine Committee has been going on, said, "It's going to create healthier lives, save lives, and hopefully continue to move forward in providing additional services that we need. Once we know we need something, we want to provide those services." Given his clear history of dedication to healthcare, I initially thought I'd read a typo in reading the agenda for today. It would have been more true to character that he had rather asked for this committee to continue to not only search for a longer-term solution, but to expand this committee to involve other community stakeholders, from physician specialists to additional community members. Let's take this committee from something that started accomplishing wonderful things to something that's even greater. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Marilyn Brodeur.
Marilyn Brodeur, 15729 Escapade Street. I'm a dentist turned stay-at-home mom to 4 children, and my husband, Michael, is teaching faculty at the emergency medicine program. By 17 years old, I had lived in 10 different states. Home was where your family was. Now, after 10 years here, home is a place. It's Corpus Christi. I feel a mama bear protectiveness to what I see happening. As I've advocated for the emergency program, the word civil servant takes on a new meaning as I've seen it in real time from all of you and the NCHD. Thank you for your service to Nueces County. I must comment on the item submitted by Commissioner JAG to dissolve the Emergency Medicine Committee. Commissioner JAG, I've heard of how you've helped constituents navigate higher education and how hard you fought for the Hector P. Garcia Clinic. You also signed the proclamation to save the EM program to keep this indigent safety net. You embody civil service in action. As I try to understand the rationale to dissolve this committee, I acknowledge that we do have a 6-year contract for support and a clause to transfer. Sadly, it's a mistake to end this process now. I must remind this body that we came to you because the closure decision was made unilaterally. The doctors didn't know, board members didn't know, local leadership didn't know, blindsided. And without your quick action, we would have lost over 50 ER doctors in this community. In addition, this closure decision would have eventually violated the NCHD contract for indigent care. That contract requires 2 residency programs. Removing emergency medicine would have left only 1. We needed the leadership of Judge Scott and this bipartisan committee to save it, and we still need that leadership to finish this. Last year at Shoreline alone, the residency cared for 64,000 patient encounters. Some of those 64,000 patients were transfers from the Hector P. Garcia Clinic. What will be their level of care, emergency care, 6 years from now? I applaud Judge Scott's long-term emergency medicine committee strategy, released 7 days ago. That 1, the hospital district work with SPAWN for a commitment beyond 6 years, and 2, we find an alternative strategy with other hospital systems in the event that SPAWN cannot commit past 6 years. From rural patients flown in by Halo to patients transferred from Hector P. Garcia, everyone in Nueces County deserves the cutting-edge emergency care that this program delivers.
Thank you. Karen Urban?
Good morning. My name is Karen Urban, and I live at 4110 Ocean Drive. I have served Krista Spahn for over 20 years as a volunteer and as a community advocate, and currently as a member of the working committee appointed by Judge Scott. The underpinning of my commitment and devotion to Spahn has always been to extend our mission, which is to extend the healing ministry of Jesus Christ. Our mission is expansive as it seeks to serve the vulnerable, the underserved in our community. I would like to express my gratitude to NCHD and the financial gift to Krista's Health and Krista Spahn. $21 million prorated over 6, and gratitude especially to Judge Scott, to Commissioner Mattis and Commissioner Chesney, who quickly recognized last October the importance of the emergency residency program, a program which was abruptly terminated by Christus and Krista Spahn, ostensibly because they did not have sufficient funding to sustain the program. And most importantly, the program was terminated with total disregard for faculty, residents, and Nueces County patients. The working committee met and started the process of potential to save the program with a significant eye to future sustainability. Program saved, and thanks to NCHD for making the tough decision to support SPAWN for the next 6 years. However, the committee asks, what about sustainability for the future of emergency care for Nueces County residents? The signed agreement has a clause, a proviso for an out should SPAWN decide yet again that they do not have the funding nor the interest. What then? What then? Perhaps an alternative to SPAWN, another organization assuming the role of EMR education. I believe, and the committee believes, it is wise and provident to examine other avenues, as it would be doubtful for NCHD to continue supporting SPAWN, particularly as these numbers of incredible larges. The working committee has their eye on the future residency program potential with a laser focus on patient care in Nueces County. Not one person on the committee has an agenda, not political, not financial, not self-serving. The work of the group is healthy and dedicated to the best possible quality education in the arena of emergency medicine in Nueces County. I cannot imagine disbanding a group of more dedicated and purpose-driven people who share a common goal. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica Wilson? Oh, sorry.
Move the mic around too when they're up there.
Good morning. Can you all hear me? Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Veronica Wilson, 19 Great Lakes Drive. Today, I'm addressing the recommendation from Joe Gonzalez, Precinct 2, and his sole desire to discuss and consider taking action in dissolving the Emergency Medicine Committee, I'll call them the EMC, to eliminate the county's involvement for the purpose of the emergency residency program and all other matters. For my fellow citizens who don't know, SPAWN has two programs that train doctors, a family medicine program and an emergency medicine program. This past November, October, SPAWN put in their very best efforts to fire 52 emergency room doctors and end the program that trains them. This county court had to sign a document just to keep these doctors safe from SPAWN, but it only buys 6 years, and SPAWN wants more money to keep the program. The program's not safe yet, and the EMC is working on a solution that will save and guarantee the future of emergency medicine in Nueces County beyond 6 years and in the future, not let SPAWN demand more ransom money at the end of every contract period. SPAWN representatives have shown great disrespect and not attended any EMC meetings. You see, SPAWN told us all in other sessions like this that it wants to remove the ER program and open up 162 family clinics run by nurse practitioners, clinics for which they won't pay any property tax. These clinics might put all your favorite doctors out of business. Eventually, every family doc might be forced to join SPAWN. Their plans, whatever those are, cannot be allowed to sacrifice emergency care. I'd like to remind everyone here that in 2014, SPAWN Hospital System tore down Memorial Hospital and its 300-plus beds. In exchange, SPAWN was to have 2 training programs. That was the deal, a deal SPAWN broke. In 2018, they fired half of our anesthesiologists. It's 2024, and here we are doing this. Though I know our commissioners can't address public comment directly, I think respectfully, we would all love to know exactly who thought it would be a good idea for Commissioner Joe Gonzalez to suggest shutting down our only Nueces County appointed heroes that work to save our emergency residency program. The EMC's job must continue because its purpose has not yet been fulfilled. We have 4 health committees that the county appoints people to that serve this county, and 2 of them stopped meeting during COVID and haven't met since. And the Nueces County Hospital District only serves its finite number of indigent patients. SPAWN serves itself. Thank you, Judge Scott, for creating the EMC for the future well-being of Nueces County to guarantee emergency care. Thank you, Commissioners Chesney and Mares, for serving on it to save our emergency physicians for all the citizens of Nueces County. Thank you all. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Edward Youngman.
My name's Edward Youngman. I'm from Bishop. Live at 5159 FM 3354 in Bishop. And my question is, with the Tri-County drainage plan that y'all are going to look at this morning, according to the guidelines, the Nueces County Drainage District number 3 was left out of that plan. And part of that plan is to drain water into one of our ditches. Not only that, but they're going to increase the size of that ditch from about 35 feet to 75 feet to drain 160 acres, which is basically unfeasible. The ditch is big enough right now to drain it, and I guess my question is, who can I contact to see about that particular plan? And there's a couple other plans also that we have concerns about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that's the end of, yes, former Commissioner Vaughn, Carolyn Vaughn.
Good morning. Forgive me, I have no notes, so bear with me. First off, I wasn't going to say this, but I find it just unfathomable that someone can come up here and tarnish a person's their reputation, and you can't speak back. If that wasn't a political speech, I don't know what is. The 2 things that I'm here for today is Barisi Village. I think that's so important. Jeff Blackard has been so patient with this city and this county. 10 years, and so have the residents of Fairrose. This is going to be a game changer for this city. I hope y'all approve that today. The other one is for the residents. I cannot, in my mind, imagine why anyone, thank you first off for doing the committee, why you would want to disband it. One of the most important things that we have is health care. And our city doesn't have the things that we need. you up there, myself, and so many others can go anywhere you want to for health care. We have a lot of low-income people here that need it. So if you vote today to disband that, you are voting against the doctors and you're voting against your residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that didn't have the opportunity to speak? Yes, Dr. Swartlick? I'll sign you up, Lonnie.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm Dr. Lonnie Swerlick, 14314 Playa del Rey. I'm one of the old Corpus Christi residents, been here forever. My family's been here forever. I've watched emergency medicine evolve in Corpus Christi from a very scary type of encounter if you ever got sick to a premier emergency medicine program that needs maintaining to the max. Having a committee like this, and actually in any kind of organization for any very, very vital organization, you need to have a entity that oversees it, watches it, fine-tunes it, and keeps it going properly. I respect Jag's idea of trying to decrease committees, because I hate committees too. But sometimes for some things, you've got to keep your finger on the pulse. You've got to keep watching it. You've got to keep monitoring it. You've got to keep improving, fine-tuning it. And this committee is paramount in this community because it does what we needed. I mean, we've progressed now with these great residency programs, a great number of physicians here that not only supply the hospitals here, but they supply all of our outlying freestanding emergency centers, as well as all the small communities around here, which before we had a heck of a time staffing. And the staffing that we had was nowhere close to the expertise that we have now. Maintaining this program is super important, and we really, really would like for y'all to keep that because you got to keep your finger on the pulse. And like I hear tons of times when I go up to DC and Capitol and Austin is, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. And so you've got to be at the table. You got to keep watching them, fine-tuning them. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Anyone else? Yes. I'll put you down too, Ms. Hunsaker.
Keely Hunsaker, 350 Dolphin Place. And I'm just here to speak in support of emergency medicine. I came today because as a county, we do not need to lose any more doctors. We need all the doctors we can get, and we definitely need to keep our emergency medicine doctors. If you've ever had to go to the ER, you know how important it is. I personally have had to send my neighbors or call the EMS, and you want to be able to send them to the best care they can get. And I had to send Commissioner Chesney's mother to the ER. And the great thing about that day was that we didn't have to stand there and say, well, which ER do we send her to? What doctors are where? We just said, take her to the closest one because they are all good. And that's what we need to keep here. We need to keep that decision and keep our doctors in town. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Last call, anyone else? Then I think that ends our public comment portion. Sorry. Commissioner Chesney, you are Judge Pro Tem. You want to take that item G1 since I have to abstain, if you would?
Yes, ma'am. Let me get to that. Caught me off guard there, Judge. Thank you very much. The next item is item 1G1, the recommendation for the Nueces County Airport Advisory Board. There are 3 precinct positions on the Nueces County Advisory Board with terms that expired in September of '23. There has been 1 application received from Michael D. Scott, Precinct 1 resident, for the Precinct 1 position. I would entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Scott as the, thank you. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second to appoint Michael D. Scott as the Precinct 1 Commissioner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say same sign. Motion passes. And I show 1 abstention with Judge Scott abstaining. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, the Nueces County Civil Service Commission. We have sent this back out for applicants. We have 2 positions. Jason Floyd has sent his letter of intent back, and we have a new applicant that would be replacing
Robert Temez?
Robert Temez, he did not wish to be reappointed. He was only serving just until we found someone. But Scott Corliss has sent in his application to serve on this. So I would accept a motion for reappointing Jason Floyd and accepting the application of Scott Corliss.
So moved, Judge.
I will second that. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do any commissioners have any consent agenda items that they wish to be pulled? I am going to pull item M, needs to be tabled.
A? Yeah.
A, you want to pull the minutes?
No, you skipped A, or you want to do A?
That's part of the
Oh, it's
consent.
part of the consent, it's all together. I am needing to pull item M because there's a correction. We will have to move it to the next court because there were two mistakes, even the corrected version is wrong. So item M, I'm going to, at the request of purchasing department, Michael asked us to table that to 221.
Is that a motion, Judge?
Yes, that's a
Se-
motion. We
second
have a
your motion.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Are there any other items on the list y'all wish to pull for discussion or anything?
Number D, number
D?
6 and D.
Which, D? D6, is that what you're saying? So just D6, Judge.
What is, okay, just D6. Okay, yes. And any others?
Also, I have number S.
S?
S, isn't Sam. S.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
Hold on, Judge. I did have, sorry. I don't know which one it is, but it's the Bob Hall one.
X.
I need to table that one, Judge. Motion to table. I didn't get my backup in, so I would make a motion to table that until the next meeting, to 221.
We have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor to table this item to February 22nd? 21st, sorry, excuse me.
It's X. Did you
Aye.
vote?
All those in favor say aye. I said,
Aye.
yes, sorry. Aye.
If there's no others, Judge, I would make a motion to pass the remaining part of the consent agenda except for D6, M, which was tabled, S, which was pulled, and X, which was tabled.
I'll accept a second for that motion. I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. So moving on to item D6 first. Commissioner
Yeah, I have a
Gonzalez.
question on 6, on Susan Ross. It says here, is this the final payment for $2,320 for Susan Ross? Is that all, the balance there?
Anna's coming up to the podium. I'm assuming it is. We asked for the final payments for everything. That was what was on the agenda, so.
Yes, sir. All the invoices that are related to the Tri-County drainage on the special motions are all finals.
You know, I really have a hard time paying that because, I mean, she's not even here, and she was asked to be here to do a closeout, and I guess she passed it on to Heaven Associates, and, I mean, she was paid a lot of money, over $200,000 to do this program, and she got her money back in August, and we haven't even seen her since, and she doesn't have anything else. So, I think she should be here closing this thing out. She was the director of this thing. So that's my opinion, and that's why I can't actually support that, so. I don't think we should pay her until she comes and gives us a closeout.
Does anyone else then have a motion to pass this, to pay this?
Excuse me,
or-
Judge, I feel the same way. Ms. Ross, every time she wanted an increase in money, she'd be here, okay? Even, I think we gave her money so she would be able to buy breakfast and other things and for other people. So I think she should be able to come here and explain to us, what really went on, what she accomplished with all this. So I think, that's my feeling. I think she should be here.
Is this a bill that's owed
Way
and due
past
by
due.
this county?
Yes.
It's way past due? This
Yes,
is
yes,
this is
those
past-
says
this is
for the month
past
of June
due
of last year.
money?
Well, it's
Yes.
past due because.
Wait, can I
she
finish?
got
I
a-
let you speak. Can I finish? So the other part of this was if we ask her to keep coming, then we have to keep paying her to keep coming also. So if
Correct.
you everybody's cut her off and said, don't spend any more time on it, and then you're saying you want her to come, then if you want her to come, then you're gonna have to pay her and you're gonna oppose that bill too, then that's okay. But this is a past due bill that was owed when?
This is for services of June 2023.
So we haven't paid her since June of '23, so if y'all want to vote against that, feel free, but I might make a motion to pass this and get this done.
Excuse me, why do we always find it easier to pay people off?
Because we owe them,
Then,
Commissioner.
I know we owe them.
Okay, well, then that's why we pay
But they're
them.
also responsible to come talk to us.
Then
and
you
let us
gotta,
know.
you gotta agree to pay her if she comes. You
No, I'm
told her
not
you
gonna
didn't
agree
want her to
pay.
come anymore.
You're always willing to
No,
agree to pay.
no, I'm always
we
willing to pay
have
people
a
what they're owed. You're
motion
willing to not
and
pay people
a
that you don't like.
second.
They have I don't like, I have nothing to do with her.
Right.
Okay?
Guys,
This has been
that's
owed
enough.
since June.
We should hold
June.
people accountable to have responsibility and come talk to us after we've paid them anyway. I mean,
We
this
haven't
is-
paid her
this-
since June.
This is what we do, Commissioner, and you take the lead on that.
We
Okay.
haven't paid her since
Hasn't done
June
her
of
job.
'23, Commissioner. June of
Everyone has
'23.
had the
Whose fault is
opportunity
that?
to speak. Commissioner, I have
I
the
understand
floor.
that,
Won't
Judge.
pay her.
I have the floor.
Okay, I'll go ahead. and-
We have a motion and a second to pass this. This is the floor. There is a vote. All those in
Wait,
favor?
Judge,
Look at the
I
motion.
haven't spoke.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, everybody else.
All right. So the contract ended in June of last year? Was that?
The contract ended in November of '23. We were still waiting for the Texas Water Development Board to finalize the approval of the study. We did not get that until January, so that's why the last final bills were not submitted until we did get the approval study
And
finalized.
we didn't take any action to extend the contract, nor was Ms. Roth, did she ask for an extension on that?
No, I think we have not brought it to the court to extend the extension of the
But
Susan
we weren't
Roth
asked.
contract, but we
To your
did
recollection, were we asked or not? To your best knowledge?
I believe she did send out a request at maybe January of last year,
Of '23
'23,
to extend?
to extend, of
But-
course, to request additional funding to
But the
continue.
last invoice or bill, or I guess contact was in November of '23.
Yes, sir.
We didn't take any action to extend.
Not for the contract for Susan Roth. We have requested an extension for the Texas Water Development Board contract in order for us to submit the finalizations of reimbursements.
And this, so this ends this work,
It's
this
done.
scope?
Yes.
Okay.
That is why we're asking for this.
Right. I'm going to vote in favor of it because, one, we need this to be complete.
Yes, sir.
I do agree that when we approve items, that we should have representatives in person, or if not, at least remotely, to be able to answer any questions. I think that goes for any kind of action that we take on approving contracts. I think that goes with staff when we just have it come up here and we don't have staff that are participating or in person to present an item before this court. So I think Commissioner Gonzalez and Hernandez are onto something. I think that any and all action that we should show some representation there, even if a question doesn't come up, right? That someone should be here in case there is that question, because sometimes our directors, our staff members who are the liaisons don't have all that information, so it is helpful to have someone there. But because all of this has been resolved and will end this process, this contract basically, I'm going to vote in favor of it. But I do think for future action, Judge, that we should consider a policy or put something in place that requires someone, even like I said, with this day and age, that someone could at least be available on Zoom, even if it doesn't come up, and then they can just quietly get off the item, even if it's for consent, right? Then because what if something comes up? I mean, there's been issues that have come up in the past. So that would be my only issue, kind of, because I think that's an important topic to consider, but I will vote in favor of this. So.
You know, no, you the Commissioner? Yes, finish. No fairness too, and Anna can testify to this. Back then, Susan Ross was sent an email back in August. I bet it was in August or July, telling her that she needed to request an extension if she wanted to get one, but not to deplete her money because the program was not over yet.
Correct.
And she knew about it. She knew, she was advised that, hey, if you want to do something, you need to come to the Commissioner's Court and ask for an extension, or don't deplete your money until the end of the contract. Because it's still the contract. If it's not, doesn't end till November, why are you using all your money in August? You know, so, you know, because she wanted more money, but we're going to pay her more money. So the work that she didn't know, she was notified. You know, so that's the only thing that I have, that she was notified by an email sent by this court, really. And I think the judge knew about the email that was sent to her.
I knew about the email, and that's why the motion and the second is on the floor right now. I was asking the county attorney, I think I want to pull this back to executive because of some of the information that was disclosed when I contacted her and requested. We do have half an associates that's going to be here. I was asking the county attorney if I could. I think we will, and we will come back to this afterwards. So if Commissioner Chesney is willing, I would ask that we would pull this into executive and he pull his motion back.
Judge, I have one last question for Anna.
I would be happy to withdraw the motion to take it to executive.
Can I have the last question for Anna?
Yes.
Anna, was Susan Ross already, I understand she's working for Clearburg County, I believe? Well, what I want to know, did you know if she was working there while still under contract?
I was not made aware. I did not search for that, sir.
And I don't see why you would, but I'm wondering if you knew.
And just to clarify, Susan Roth was the project manager on the study, and half and associates were responding to any requests on the study from Texas Water Development Board, and so that is why they will be presenting their final study.
Okay, my understanding is that she's working for the water district or something in Clearburg County. So thank you anyway.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're going to pull that into executive, so we will come back. Item S, ratify amendment number 2 for extension of a contract expiration date to April the 30th with the Texas Water Development Board related to the Tri-County. Good luck.
What does it all mean?
The contract with the Texas Water Development Board ended January 31st, 2024. Since we got the final approval of the study in January, that was not sufficient time to request all the final reimbursement requests and all the paperwork that needs to get done. So we are just extending it we asked an extension and got it approved from the Water Development Board to extend it to April 24 to give me ample time to request the final funding. It's an escrow account, so we have to request
So who's going
release
to
of
ask for
funds.
the required funding?
Pardon me?
They still owe us the money, Water Development Board?
The Water Development Board, yes, because it's a release, it's an escrow account that we have to submit the request, and then they release it, and then.
So who's going to ask for those funds?
I am.
Not Susan?
No, sir.
Well, that's Susan's job too, you know.
It was.
Okay, thank you. You want to pay her? Okay.
So are we?
Okay.
Do you want to move forward with this one? The extension for us to be able to ask for reimbursement?
Well, if we're going to ask for reimbursement, yes, I guess.
Yes, okay.
I'll second his motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item X, you wanted table. Did we already handle that one, I think? Yes. Sorry. Okay. Then moving on to the regular agenda, item A. Discuss and consider dissolving the Emergency Medicine Committee to eliminate the county's involvement. And Commissioner Gonzalez, this was yours.
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody out there for giving me a lot of accolades out there about the things that I've done, you know, because at least you know that I am concerned about the community. I am concerned about the indigent, and I am concerned. So I've been and looked at my history, so I really appreciate that. You know, and just to let you put the thing in perspective, everybody in here, in this table here, voted to support it. None of them voted no. We all voted to support the residency. It's important. We all voted to support the doctors for 6 years. So, I mean, I don't know why we're the bad guys now, because we have different ideas, different opinions, you know. So it's not like we're not supporting you, you know. But it make it sound like, man, I'm the bad guy here, you know. But you know, my concern is the process, and I'm glad you probably might not be too familiar with the process, but there's a process that we're not following in this when we're doing all this thing. And I really don't care which way we go, because you have to count to 3. You got 3 that says yes and 2 says no, it's still gonna happen. But it should come to Commissioner's Court. That's why we're here. And if you don't bring it to Commissioner's Court, I think we're in violation of something. This is why I put it on there, to discuss this thing. Not that I'm against the doctor. From the day one, we supported you. From day one, we supported the residency. You know, ACA closed their residency and nobody raised an issue, and nobody died, they still get providing services. They got half, the family medicine was cut in half, and I mean, they're still surviving, and nobody raised an issue, you know? So it's important what you guys are doing. It's important to have this. We've got 6 years, so my deal is, I just don't want to spend, we spent $21 million already from the hospital district, taxpayers' money, indigent care. And I know you do indigent care at the emergency room, but I wouldn't say it's 50% is indigent care. We got more indigent care in the outer areas than we do in emergency rooms. And it's not about dissolving it and not coming back to it. I mean, we can always come back to it. I mean, you got 6 years. Something can happen in 6 years and maybe be better, maybe not. And if it's not going to be better, then, hey, you can regroup and say, hey, what's going on? But, you know, I don't see the purpose, because we cannot, and the judge told me that one time, I don't like SPON telling me what to do, and shouldn't tell SPON what to do. But evidently we are doing it, you know. So I think that we don't have a right to tell SPON what to do. It's got a partnership with the hospital district. It's between hospital district and SPON. You know, the hospital district, we did a policy. He said one time, they said, we cannot ask the hospital district for money unless it goes to the Commissioner's Court. Well, the $21 million didn't come to the Commissioner's Court, but we voted for it. It's a good thing. All right, so we didn't follow that policy that we created for a reason. The hospital district also created a policy that said, if you're gonna request for money, you need to go back to Commissioner's Court and get a vote and come back. We didn't do that either. So I think the process here is not what we're supposed to be following. We sent that letter to SPON, prepared by one of the commissioners. I gave the committee commissioners. The judge saw the letter, she read the letter, and it was sent to SPON. Why, again, that should have come to the Commissioner's Court. We're taking actions without going to Commissioner's Court. And that's a quorum when 3 people know about the letter and 2 don't know about it. That's the problem that I have, Judge. I mean, the problem that I have is we're doing things with 3 people knowing what's going on and the other 2 people don't know what's going on. You know, then the other process was the press release. We didn't know anything about the press release. But I mean, when I talked to you the day before the press release, you know, you didn't mention the press release, but your guys were already working on the press release.
That's not true.
the commissioners-
I got handed a paper and signed it.
rewrote
It
the
was
press
not
release,
prepared ahead of
And
time.
you wrote the press release, but still, it should have come to Commissioner's Court for approval for the press release. I mean, all it would have taken is 2 more weeks. And someone would, you know, it probably would have said, okay. It's just the process that we have that is not right. It's not been followed. Do you take me to put this on the page so we can get everybody here to talk about it, you know? I mean, we support you. We're glad you're doing what you're doing. We need a lot of help in the western part of the community too. You know, we're having a 7-day health affair that we're gonna do with clinics. I mean, we're asking for volunteers. Hope some of you will volunteer, some of you doctors. We need doctors. We need dentists. You please sign up, but we need you. Just like you need us, we need you. You know, and that's a whole week. So we'll take in volunteers. So as far as dissolving, I just don't think the county should be driving this thing. Y'all can have your committees if you want. The commissioners can go where it wants to go. Like, if I want to go to a SPON meeting because they invite me to go, I can go. I'm not representing the county. I'm representing myself. I just go. Nothing says you can't have a committee. We can't control that. But if it's driven by the county and telling SPON what to do and what they should do, it's 2 different things to me. I just don't want to spend any more money from the hospital district that belongs to indigent care. Something happens, hopefully not, in the next 6 months or a year, the SPON breaks up with hospital district, where are we gonna be? Where is that money gonna be? So, you know, it's not, and I don't know how to tell you this, guys, but you know, I mean, I'm not the bad guy, you know? We just want to do the right things, and want to do, and we should do the process right here in Commissioner's Court. We got 4 commissioners and a judge. A lot of things should have gone through Commissioner's Court for a vote. It didn't come through.
I
didn't give
And
the
I
power- we didn't
disagree
give the
a
power-
little bit on
We didn't give the power
that.
to the judge
It was like-
to extend the committees. I don't remember doing that.
You
We
plan
gave it-
and do things all the time with
we gave-
IRTs, with all of your stuff that you do, and it doesn't come to
Well,
court.
you can
But it's
compare
a
whatever you want to compare,
community.
Judge. I'm just telling you, this is right now on the table. You want to bring something later on, bring it up. You know, but the thing is, this is on the table because it's happening right now. I mean, if 3 people know about it, it's in violation of quorum. So 2 people don't know about it, and it should always be taken to Commissioner's Court for a vote. Yeah, you can decide whatever you want, but then ratify it in court, and whether we pass it or not doesn't make any difference. If 3 votes is good, hey, at least I got the vote, right? Whether I vote yes or no. That's the process that I want.
Okay,
You know,
that's
okay?
your request,
But hold
yes.
on, I'm not finished yet. Judge. Don't shut me up. You don't shut Brent up, don't shut me up,
I'm
okay?
sorry, no, I thought you
No,
said
no,
that's the
okay.
process you want. You were
Yeah,
done.
Brent talks forever, but it's okay. I'm sorry, man. I love you, man.
Yeah, I can tell.
Everybody, okay.
But anyway, yeah, I just, again, this is my opinion, this is how I feel. You know, I'm glad that both of you are here, and I'm, you know, indigent care means a lot, and we all care about indigent care. That's the key. You know, I think we're all out there for the same purpose, for the same thing, for the same mission. But sometimes we just can't drive some things forever. You know, I think that's gotta be between, and if SPON not gonna do it, if SPON not gonna do it, I guess, I mean, I don't know, something you have to deal with SPON. But we don't have the money to put in there that I know of. So, that's just, that's why I put this on the agenda. I mean, I don't think that we should drive this thing, you know, and be part of a long-term committee. I mean, we can always come back and regroup if it's not gonna happen, and the commissioners can meet with you all they want, you know, but, I mean, they shouldn't be driven by the county. It's a county project. That's what I feel. It's my opinion. So, okay.
You're done?
Judge, I'd like to add something.
I think Commissioner Chesney was next.
Oh.
You can
Oh,
be
that's
after
okay.
him,
You
though.
can go ahead.
Yeah.
ahead.
I'll wait for Commissioner Anderson.
No, I'll wait for you. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay.
I don't want to be rude.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, I wish I could say I couldn't disagree more and be more emphatic about it, because I couldn't disagree more with pretty much everything Commissioner Gonzalez just said, other than the accolades that he does deserve for the longstanding commitment that he's had to this community. I don't disagree with any of that, because he certainly has been a longstanding leader in that, and that's why his putting this on has definitely shocked me as well, as someone said earlier, because I do disagree with you. We have brought everything to the court. We brought the $21 million proposal to the court. This court chose not to make a motion and vote on it, but you may remember that, Commissioner, that was brought to this court. We had a lengthy discussion on it before it went to the Hospital District Board, and we talked about it for an hour. We didn't choose to vote on it. No one made a motion to support it or not support it, but it was before this court. It was before this court repeatedly, and everything was done in regards to that. Sorry, I've got a little allergies working today as well. So that's an inaccurate statement to say that it wasn't brought before this court and that you weren't aware of it. The county judge can send a press release whenever she wants. You can send a press release whenever you want. I can send a press release whenever I want. She can contact anyone she wants. I can contact anyone I want. I don't have to come get your permission, respectfully, to send a letter out to Spawn or anybody else. I don't have to come get the court's permission to meet with people on different things. I don't have to get the court's permission to do the things that you think that we need to get the permission for. We have brought everything to this court. We have circulated everything that we can to this court that you're interested in. Anytime you want information, all you have to do is ask, and we'll give you more of it. I, again, disagree with you on your position in regards to Spawn. We have a relationship with Spawn through the hospital district. That is an important relationship. We have a fiduciary responsibility to look under the hood on everything Spawn does in this community and every dollar spent. In fact, I think the hospital district, and if they won't do it on their own, we need to make a motion to ask to make sure that Spawn is fulfilling the contract with the hospital district. That contract needs to be scrutinized by this commissioner's court, by the board, because we appoint the hospital district board members. We approve the hospital district board's budget. We approve, not when I was on this court, prior to me, you had to vote to tear down Memorial. So we are to say we're not involved with Spawn is absolutely the most incorrect statement ever. We are 100% involved with Spawn. We are 100% responsible for this community. We are 100% responsible for our participation in the hospital district board. And to say we're not is just not right. It is not right. We appoint those board members. We approve their budget, like I've said. To say we're not involved with Spawn is absolutely incorrect. It's 100% incorrect. We love to go when they cut their ribbons and be involved with them then. We got to go and we got to be involved when they're cutting programs too. If we're going to go involved with their cutting ribbons, then let's be involved when they're cutting programs that affects this community. Whether this committee is in place or not, I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to be an advocate for the doctors and for our citizens as long as I sit here and after I sit here. It doesn't matter to me whether there's a committee. What's going on in this community is wrong. Not only should we embrace this committee and continue with this committee, but we should expand this committee, as was recommended earlier, and we should make this a permanent standing committee. And I'm going to make a motion to that effect as soon as you make whatever motion you're going to make to disband. But I'm going to make a motion that we expand this committee to once we've resolved this issue, because right now we're laser focused. Right now we've got to stay on this issue. It's a two-pronged issue. We're trying to get a long-term deal with Spawn, and if they don't want a long-term deal, then we want a long-term deal with somebody else, because we have got to keep these doctors in this community. We have got to protect it. This is not only a medical issue. This is not only a health issue. This is an economic development issue, because if you think anybody's going to give a crap about coming to Corpus Christi, if we kick 52 doctors out of this community, and if you think I'm going to stand by and hide behind whatever it is that we're doing today, that isn't happening. We have followed the policy to the letter, Everybody on this court can do whatever they want individually as members of it. I get to send stuff out whenever I'm going to, and I'm going to continue to do it. If it's a big decision, if it's a decision that this body has to vote on, you bet. We brought that $21 million to this court, and Commissioner Gonzalez, you had every right to make a motion that day to vote to support it or not, just like I did. We chose not to make a motion. We just said, hey, we continue to support you. We've already passed a resolution, and on down the path it went. The hospital district, thank God for the hospital district and those board members who voted to pass that, because if someone came to me and said, hey, Commissioner, here's the deal. We can get 52 doctors for this community, but it's going to cost $20 million. I'd do that every day and twice on Sunday, because we waste more money on things that cost people in this community than we spend on things that don't. So we have absolutely followed this to the letter of the law. We will continue to do it. And whenever, again, I'm gonna wait and make my motion because I want everybody else to be able to talk first. But we have done absolutely by the book. This committee has done a great job, and to do anything to say that it has, look, we have stakeholders. We have a committee made up of stakeholders at the table that very few committees have. And we've gotten public input. We've had, I don't know how many of these meetings now, 15 that we've dealt with, maybe not 15, 10 meetings that we've had open to the public to come and talk about this issue. I'd like to see anybody else that's done any more than that. We've had people show up at meetings. The hospital district has had meeting after meeting. People have worked their tails off to get this done, and we all celebrated, as you should too, Commissioner, because you voted for it. We should celebrate that 6-year deal, but the work is not done. We are nowhere near done, because no, you can't just quit and pick back up in 2 years, because then we're right back where we were, where they can't go and tell residents in all honesty and ethically that their program is going to continue. So thanks to SPAWN for signing the 6-year deal. Thanks to the hospital district, thanks to the committee, thanks to the doctors. We met with, thanks to the committee members, thanks to the judge for putting this together, for the court. So why we're even here today in any way, shape, or form in a negative manner is only respectfully because, Commissioner, you did put a motion on to disband a committee that's done really great work and done it. Maybe if you'd worded the agenda item differently to just say motion to discuss the overall health care program, it wouldn't have made everybody so upset and thought you were, and I don't think you're a bad guy, but the wording of the agenda made everybody nervous. You want to disband a committee? You want to disband a committee that's done great work. And so that's fired everybody up, and maybe they've misinterpreted your intentions, and you've gone a ways to clear that up. So again, and it's not because I'm on the committee. If someone else wants to be on the committee from the court or whatever, we need to work on that. But I'm going to work on this no matter what. And I appreciate everybody that's been involved in it. Again, we should celebrate the victory, but we have a lot of work to do, and we are nowhere near done. And I'm going to keep fighting for these doctors and these people in our community. And again, the irony of this is I don't represent a lot of indigent people. I don't, and I acknowledge that. But I'm fighting as hard as I can for those people, because I truly believe if we don't fight for these doctors and fight for these programs, that our indigent, our aging community is going to suffer. And believe me, I'm getting older every day, and I don't want to suffer. And I don't want the people that we all represent to suffer either. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Commissioner Hernandez?
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner, I don't think you're one to suffer. I think you do okay. My concern is, what about the employees? You know, where that money is being taken away. We have a lot of indigent employees here, okay, that are having to work 2 or 3 jobs, okay? And what about them? What are we going to do for them? What about the people that work at the jail? You know, the jailers, the police officers. We had a hard time, even though we cut budget, we still had a hard time getting things accomplished that we needed to get accomplished for the employees. So what about them? I mean, it's nice, and I support the doctors, okay? But I think the doctors also, if it's in their hearts to be here and care for the people of this county, they'll stay. But if the doctors choose to want to go somewhere else where the water is not contaminated, you know, the lands won't be contaminated. I had $1 million set aside to do some work in Banquete where the sewage is leaking in the ground, and it's been leaking for years, okay? And nobody has taken notice of that. Nobody's done anything. Okay? But the only thing that happened in Banquete, I couldn't get the people responsible to do the proper paperwork, so y'all grabbed my $1 million away and added it on to the county courthouse to fix the roof, without giving me the opportunity to use that money elsewhere where I needed it. You all pulled money away from Driscoll, that I had another $1 million to fix the drainage, okay? You all pulled that money away, and, didn't give us, we have a lot of indigent people, we need a lot of things to do. How are we gonna do it if we're gonna keep financing this kind of programs? It's not us to do, it was wrong. It was wrong to even give Spawn Hospital the job of taking over healthcare here in Nueces County. Okay. So, where does it all stop? Yeah, you have a difference of opinion, and along with the others, but let's face it, we're divided here, okay? But it's not that we're bad people. If anybody knows that we need medical people here, professionals. I've myself had to take my wife to Victoria to go see a specialist because there are none here, okay? So where's the other? I know of another person that has to go see a doctor in Alice, okay? Because they can't find a doctor here, okay? Not of what they need. So how do these smaller communities manage this and we can't? And you speak about the indigent, yes. This whole thing was intended for indigent care, and the county was given monies to support this. But we did wrong when we gave Spawn the responsibility of taking care, taking over the hospital area district. But, I also feel for our employees. Our employees are suffering also. Okay? Take note of that. I myself, when I was working here, it took me 22 years to get a $5 raise, okay? Because all we get was a quarter, and they call it a 3% increase. But it's a quarter, okay? There's 4 quarters in $1. So every 4 years, I got $1, So that's what's wrong, okay? Let's improve the wages here in this community so people that are working can also afford to go see a doctor wherever they want and when they want, okay? They don't have to be waiting in line. So it's not that we're against the doctors. I applaud the doctors. Thank you all. I don't know where we would be without you guys here during a hurricane or a disaster. But I just don't, to be paying, taking money out of our budget or asking the taxpayers to increase, we're going to increase our tax base for more money, okay? We still have a jail we're going to have to contend with, okay? There's a lot of needs we need here in the county that we're having problems fulfilling because we don't have the money, okay? And nobody's saying it, but we were left in poor shape, from the previous previous county judge, and nobody's saying it, but I want to say it, because I think, like I said, put the responsibility where it falls, okay? So with that, Judge, I just want to tell doctors, I thank you all for being here, and I applaud you all, but there's other things that we are responsible for that we need to make sure that, we get it done. And one of my biggest responsibilities are the employees and the people around that are seeking indigent help. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Before you speak, Commissioner Matos, I just want to clarify, none of the county's budgets are going toward any of this.
No,
We're
no,
not taking,
I
okay.
said, but we had to
I
cut.
wanted to be
We had
clear.
to cut.
Yes, this last
We
year,
had
but
problems.
in moving
We-
this process forward with the doctors,
Yeah,
this is not our funds paying for this.
We
or
had problems
Yeah.
paying, getting the contract for our sheriff's people, okay? Because we didn't have the money, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking at.
But this isn't gonna give us any money, is
No,
what
no,
I
no, no,
meant.
no, but
Yeah,
it's
okay.
still not fair.
Yeah, there are priorities all over the county that are not
Exactly.
getting taken care of. I get that. I'm sorry, Commissioner Matos.
No, thank you. That was one of the questions I wanted to make sure to clarify, that this money doesn't have anything to do with the county's budget. Is that correct, Dale?
That's correct.
Okay.
But it comes from the taxpayers.
But
We have no
Let me-
authority over it.
let me finish. So, I mean, we get sidetracked on all these other important issues. I mean, the issue is at what is at hand, what was filed, right? And I looked at into our audience here this morning, and it's like the reluctant hero. You see some of the doctors, and I'm not going to point you out, but like you have your coat draped over your arm, and then you just kind of slide it back on, and you're back on work duty. It's not treating patients, it's not dealing with true emergencies, but you're here because you're speaking up for yourself, for your colleagues, for our community. But that reluctant hero that I saw several of you, you're here. You're doing it because you want to advocate. You're always an advocate. I don't think you ever turn that switch off, right? I mean, and most of the time it's always for someone else. But here today, it also is for you. It's for the doctors. And no matter how much it's spun, this is either you're with you or against you. I mean, I don't get this double talk. I don't. I mean, I'm really, truly just frustrated that we were having to take your time. I bet if I asked, several of you just got off or are going to get ready to go on soon, you're going to have to go try to find a quiet space to get a couple of hours of sleep in before you have to go back on duty. We cut into your personal time, your family time, because someone's feelings were hurt, that they feel that this committee that's created by the judge, which is an ad hoc committee, which is not something that was created by this court, it was appointed by the judge. It shouldn't even be voted on. It shouldn't even be considered as an agenda item. I'm surprised that it made it here, because it shouldn't. It shouldn't have to take your time away to advocate once again. We thought it was over. What we're doing here is going to continue. I agree, Commissioner Chesney. You're not going to stop us. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop Karen Urban. You're not going to stop all the others who put countless amount of hours and passion into this issue. This is an item that is not going away. The time frame that we have talked about in open court was something that is not going away. 2 years is going to go by fast. And if we know if Spawn is not going to want this program, we need to know the sooner the better so we can recuperate and go out and find a system that wants it. And this is not about Spawn, right? This is not about whether they're bad for making decisions that they have to do, but how we got involved was the indigent care. I do agree with that. That's what this is about, is the indigent care. So we're going in all different directions to justify why this item is here. But reality is that we're taking your time away from being able to rest, recuperate, recover, and get back into the hospital again to train those residents that are coming in. And, when the time is right, hopefully that the numbers can be released as far as how much attention has been brought, how many applicants that the doctors are having to screen through now. It was actually a good thing. That exercise that we didn't ask for, right? And it's like this issue was created for political gain. It wasn't. This was an issue we didn't ask for. It was placed on our lap. It was not placed. It was thrown in front of you. And our colleagues sits down the road at City Hall were the first ones to get it. Then y'all came the next day to Commissioner's Court. They didn't even know what was going on. They had no control over this. But we have tirelessly, all of us, been involved in this fight. So this is not about your self-interest. It's not about you. It never is. But you are being advocates like you always are for your patient. And that patient is this community. Whether we're in that hospital right now, we will be in the future, our family members will be. We need trained residents that will be there. We need trained doctors that are teaching doctors as a teaching facility that helps ensure that we have a level 2 trauma center, level 2 care that's provided in this community. That is what is important. That's what this issue is all about. So it's not about trying to see what we can get out of it. And I'm a little gassed that public comment that was made earlier, that there's a lack of integrity from our doctors. If there's ever an event held for someone, it's because they believe in them and they support them. Not because what did I get out of it or what can I get out of it. You're above that. Me, I can take it. As a politician, I signed up for that. I think I need to go see a neurologist because I don't know why I keep signing up for this. But But you don't ask for this. You are just there every day in the front lines dealing with emergencies. And your integrity is above reproach. So I'm sorry that comments were made, even though I didn't make them, that were made publicly against you all. Because it did talk about your integrity or your family's integrity. And that's wrong. So let's focus on the fact that, one, I don't think that this agenda item is even an item that we should be discussing, because this is an ad hoc committee created by the judge. I don't think it's a binding vote. I don't think that it should count. I don't know what the motion is going to be. I hope there's at least a motion one way or the other, because then this was just an exercise in just wasting everybody's time to suit up to come out here again. It's like, gosh, I thought we were done back in December, right? With that final vote. But yes, the work still needs to be done over the months and weeks ahead. Believe me, there's projects that we can be working on and doing other than this. I love seeing our doctors. We've really built strong relationships with them. They are a strong advocacy group here in our community. But they can be doing other things. They could be resting and going to work. We can be working on other items. But this is an issue that's not going away. So we were going to continue to move forward no matter what the vote is. I'm going to stay on the course. I will still meet with you, even if this court turns it down, because this is an issue that we have to resolve soon, sooner rather than later. Before we were talking about, well, I thought it was weeks, months, and years, and we realized it was really hours, days, and weeks. We're kind of back into that mode again. So let's get it resolved. Let's get it complete so we have a long-term plan in place. And remember, it's not just us. It's our hospital district as well. They're the ones that have that binding contract for the indigent care. So it's really a three-party agreement here. But I thank y'all for your advocacy and coming up here and sharing your passion again, and once again for taking your time when it's so precious.
Excuse me, Judge, I'd like to add something to it, please. I don't think anybody questioned the doctor's integrity.
That's exactly what they did, what he did.
Okay.
Who did?
The other speaker, not you, the other speaker that
Well,
came earlier.
all right.
Exactly what he did.
I apologize, because I don't think I caught that, okay? But if you're talking about integrity, guys, come on. We got two commissioners that come to work at least once a day, okay? Where's the integrity in that?
I
No,
would,
well, I'm sorry, Judge, it's got to be told.
Where's this going, Judge?
No,
You gotta
it's
gavel
it's
in,
going to
Judge.
let
Come
the
on.
people know, let the public know
gotta
how you
gavel
guys act. You come to work once a day because you're working in Clayburgh County for the water district.
Commissioner, this isn't the place. Please
Why
don't go
not,
there.
Judge?
Please
That's
don't.
what's wrong. Everything is kept in
It's
secret.
my turn.
Thank you.
No,
Go ahead.
you don't
If you
clock
wanna-
in or
if you wanna
out.
go
We all
who's
do
working
our
and doing
work.
anything,
They
let's
work
do
from
that one.
home. Let's not go there. Let me be clear. Okay, everyone else has had a chance to speak. Now it's my turn. I am going to tell you that if this goes to a vote, I am going to vote against. But let me be clear, when I set this up, when I asked for this committee, it was never to bash Spawn. It was not to bash the hospital. It wasn't to tell anybody what to do. It was a community team to help us for the future, because no matter what, this is important to our community. It is not a county issue. We don't have funds going into this. This is not coming from our budget. This is because we live here. Our kids live here. Our parents live here. Our families move. We want businesses to come here. We want employees to come here. We want more doctors to come. This is basically a committee working on solutions for our community. We don't want to bash anyone. We are so thankful for Spawn continuing and giving us this 6 years. But 6 years is gone in a flash. We are so thankful to the hospital district for allowing their funds to be spent on this so it can be. But that's a solution that came between the hospital district and Spawn. As we said, we wanted to help this. I am so very thankful for you doctors that have come out of your day and come here so many times to tell. I am thankful for the citizens that have come to my office, the citizens that have spoken today. This is a committee that wants to find solutions for our community. I don't know how you vote against this. I am going to vote to continue. So thank you. Thank you all for everything that you've done. Thank you for the members. Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez, and everything you do for healthcare in our community. Thank you, Commissioner Hernandez. You have many of our facilities in yours. Commissioner Modas and Commissioner Chesney just happened to be probably the first two people I saw in the hall the day I created this committee. It was not a political committee. This is nothing about politics. This is a bipartisan committee that wants to find solutions for our community. Let's keep it at that. So I'm going to be voting yes to continue.
So, excuse me, Judge, does this mean that we're not gonna be asked to yea or nay on anything anymore? I mean, I don't object the committee. They can meet whenever they want, decide whatever they want with these commissioners. But are we, as the county, gonna be asked to approve things?
We have no real authority in this. It's about working together to find solutions.
Exactly.
There's
We have no
nothing to
authority on this,
approve.
Judge. This is why
There's
we
no
feel-
money to donate. This is a committee that's willing to give their time to work with our community to find solutions.
And Judge, she brought this to the court and announced it at the court that the committee was formed. You had that opportunity then, as did anybody on the court. She came and said, I'm going to form this committee.
Because it's
and-
important.
And if anybody, in open court, and anyone could have said, no, don't do it, or yes, do it, but no one objected to it,
Well,
so it
we're-
was brought
because
out
we're-
in open court.
We don't have any objections to it, Brent, but when you start bringing people in and asking us to decide and then trying to make us look like the bad guys when we approved.
How did
what
we
they
make
do.
you
Where
look
did
like a
we
bad
ask you-
guy?
what did we
Unless
ask
you
you
vote
to
against it.
decide?
No, you're asking us now how we're gonna vote.
We didn't put this on here. Commissioner
Well, no,
Gonzalez did.
but even
Okay.
before, with the resolution, I approved the resolution, we had
Yeah.
to decide that, right?
That's all we had to
Right, that's why we-
decide.
What we
Yeah.
decided, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
So
what I'm
we wouldn't be
saying.
having this conversation if it wasn't put on here to dissolve it.
Well, the reason I believe Jack did it was because of this, we're spending time, okay, in trying to decide what we're gonna do with this committee. You know, and I have no objection. You guys can meet whenever you want. You were put on there, okay, and that's fine. But why are we gonna, why are you asking us to decide, you know, what goes on?
Because he put it on the
I think that,
agenda. It's
my
his
agen-
motion, it's
my
his
agen-
agenda item, not ours. I didn't put it
agenda.
on.
Let me
Well,
talk.
that's how he feels.
That's a question for Commissioner Gonzalez, yes.
No, it's my agenda
Yes.
item, and I
Yes.
put it on, and like I said, I explained why it was put on, and maybe I did show the wrong wording to put it on there, but I'm glad everybody's here. I mean, I'm glad everybody's here, because, you know, we heard things that probably we should have heard, things we probably shouldn't have heard, but we heard them, you know, and I'm concerned, you know, and like I said, the 6 years, we all supported it, but y'all act sometimes like we didn't support it, just only them three supported. Because everybody come up here that didn't even mention us, they mentioned Chesney, they mentioned Commissioner Mata, they mentioned the judge. So what happened to Commissioner Hernandez and Jag, you know, because we all voted for it, right? We all supported it. I didn't hear one of you say, thank you for your support, and, you know, y'all only mentioned three. So, and this is a commissioner's court decision, right? So, again.
Your item, do you have a motion then for it? It's your item?
No, I really don't have a motion for it. I
You don't
should for this, for discussion, see what we're gonna do with it, see where it's going.
Judge, I have a motion if he doesn't.
Okay,
So,
Judge, I've got a motion that I would like to make, the Emergency Management Committee a permanent standing committee of Nueces County, and once the emergency medicine issue has a long-term solution, expand the scope of the committee to deal with doctor recruitment and retention in the Coastal Bend for all areas of medicine and in the Coastal Bend. That would be my motion, Judge.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that motion, or,
yes.
yes, go ahead.
I just, get on that on the motion for solutions, right? And again, I want to make sure there's nothing between this thing. For solutions is one thing, but as far as not taking funds from the hospital district is another thing. If there is any funds to be taken from the hospital district, it should come to Commissioner's Court, right? I mean, that's what I
If we're
understand.
asking for
Right.
funds, we do have, and to be clear, that was all discussed in here. We didn't ask the hospital district to pay that portion. They negotiated with Spawn on their own about that.
I'm sure they had some help,
Yeah.
but anyway, but, But I just want to make sure I got that clear.
Yes,
because I don't
that
wanna
is
be-
clear. We do have a policy where we should come to court if we're going to ask for funds on something.
And we
so-
did, so.
Yes, so-
We did, we just.
We discussed it, but we didn't vote on it.
Well, nobody, right,
I'm
no one chose to make a motion on it,
I'm
and
just
saying.
that, or not to make a motion on it, but we talked about it, we discussed it, we had a very long discussion about it. We said we continue to stand behind you, we continue to support, we've got that resolution, that was the vote that was made. No one chose to make a motion on that, but it was on as an agenda item and an action item and could have been voted on had someone wanted to vote on that. And next time, if you want to vote on it, just make that motion, because it was out there and we've put everything out in public. We've been super open and honest and transparent, and the media's covered this, and I don't talk to the judge about it because Commissioner Modas is on it, so I can't have a lot of conversations with her. I've got to have them out here. So that's how we've done it, is every time we've had a new update, we've brought it out. And if you want to put it on as a permanent item to have an update all the time, I'm happy to do that too. That's up to you, Commissioner. So, but
We have a motion and a second on the table, though, right now.
I think there's someone online who wanted to talk to you, Judge.
I'm sorry, my thing's not working. I can't see.
I don't see any hands raised.
I just got to,
Does someone wish to speak? No?
I thought, if you,
Can't speak now, we're in a motion.
well, it's a public discussion, so.
I don't have a screen right here, and I can't see that far. If there is a hand raised, I'm very sorry. Thank you. My eyes.
It brings them to the top if their hands is raised and there's
Oh,
nobody there.
okay, all right. Well, we have a motion on, and a second, making this a standing committee, and even after the solutions are found, looking for ways to improve physicians in our community. Also with the, I guess, advice from Commissioner Gonzalez that this is not for funding or anything that doesn't come back to the court for funding. It has to come back to the court if asking or requesting for funding.
Well, okay, that's.
Do you want to add that, or just
No,
to have,
that's,
just
that's a given. I've made my
prioritize?
motion. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a given.
policy already that we have, so.
I've made my motion. That's a given. I mean, yeah. So I'm not adding
Are you
anything to
adding
my
it?
motion.
It's
but,
already a
I mean,
policy,
yeah, but
so.
if someone wants to redo it, if you want to reconfirm a motion or something, but we've already got that policy. That's why we brought it to court like we did.
And it was brought to court. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Judge, again, thank you to all the doctors, but I'm going to abstain.
Abstain.
And Judge, I just want to, I'm sorry. I was just going to make clear on that that's once this issue has a long-term agreement, because right now this committee wants to stay
Focus on
laser
this,
focused
yes.
on this.
I said that's the priority.
On our plate, and then we'll
Afterwards,
come back
working on
with
the
some
other.
sort of, how do we revise it, and we'll bring it back to the court for specifics on it, but that just puts the intent out there as to what we want to do with this.
And did you vote? Did you abstain too?
Yeah,
Sorry,
abstain.
Commissioner, sorry. Yes, I think they were waiting. All right, moving on. Thank you. The motion passes. We are ready for
I'm
Ms.
sorry, what was the count, Judge?
3-2, 2 abstains, 3-4, 2 abstains. Moving on to item number 2, receive a presentation. I know, doctors, if y'all have to get out and go to work and everything, just please kind of keep the noise down till you get outside, because we are still continuing with court. Thank you for being here today. Receive a presentation on the jail assessment. Mr. Brian Lee and Carl Becker. Oh, there, I saw you. Didn't see you in the back. You're hiding. Thank you very much for being here.
Good morning, Judge Scott and Commissioners. I'm Brian Lee from CGL, Vice President of Planning, and I have Carl Becker with me, who is our Justice Services Director. We're here to conduct a presentation on the recent jail needs assessment that was conducted by our company at the request of the Nueces County Sheriff's Office.
And paid for by the sheriff.
Yes, and paid for by the sheriff.
Let me be clear.
The main one.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sheriff.
So in December of 2022, we were contracted by Nueces County to come out and take a look at the jail. The objectives of our study were to assess the current physical plant and operating conditions of the county jail facilities. We were reviewing the profile of persons committed to the jail, including trends in the size and characteristics of the inmates in the population. And finally, we developed a projection of the future size and inmate population and demand for jail beds. I just wanted to add, through the course of this process, we have interviewed several stakeholders involved in the Nueces County justice system. We have interviewed several of the county commissioners. We interviewed the health services administrator, the adult probation director, the public defender chief, several deputy chiefs, shift commanders, and supervisors at the Nueces County Jail. We interviewed Judge Connie Scott. We interviewed a geo warden, the NCSO discharge planner that works for Armor Health, and also the director of behavioral health, along with pretrial services. So we had quite a few folks, and obviously Sheriff Hooper. I didn't want to forget Sheriff Hooper. So all of those recommendations were from Sheriff Hooper of people that we should hear from in the course of our study. So the findings of our study, I don't think it comes as a surprise that my understanding the jail was constructed in 1976. As far as the physical plant goes of the jail, it's not good. Our final recommendation is that the county begin proceedings to explore options to replace the current jail facility. Our findings were the amount of jail capacity available currently is not sufficient to meet the current population, and I think that's evidenced by the fact that they're outsourcing jail beds in other counties to meet those needs. Much of the available capacity in the current jail system is not really suitable for the type of offenders and the services that are required in a modern correctional facility. The design of the jail is an obsolete design that's not really utilized it's utilized. Many counties across the country are in much the same boat with aging jails, but it's not a preferred design that impairs security and safety for staff and the incarcerated. There are definitely poor building conditions that impair jail operations. A lot of the overall major systems fail on a regular basis that make it very difficult and demanding on security staff and maintenance staff. The facilities lack basic program spaces required for effective inmate management, and staffing is an issue also. There's chronically low staffing. I am of the understanding that since we made our site visit and pulled our data, the staffing situation is getting much better.
It's improving.
Yeah, is improving. But there is concerns with the physical plan of the jail and how that impacts the staff that are operating the jail. And I just want to applaud the staff at the jail currently, both security staff, support staff, maintenance staff, the job that they're doing to keep the jail operating, and that what they do there is phenomenal given the conditions of the jail. Let's see. So physical plant, just a few things of note are the poor conditions, again, the obsolete design. In a modern correctional facility, the Nueces County Jail utilizes a lot of what we refer to as linear supervision, remote supervision, where security staff are remotely viewing on an intermittent basis inmate activities. And that makes it very difficult to stay engaged with the population to ensure that they're involved in activities that are good for their reintegration into the community. All of those aspects. It's very difficult for the security staff in the way the open bar designs, the intermittent supervision just makes it really difficult to monitor that constant behavior, and a lot of times that results in activities that further damage the jail, destruction of property, assault on staff, assault on each other. It creates high liabilities in jails, and that's obviously the concern. There are not a lot of spaces designated in the jail for program and treatment, which is a modern trend in modern correctional facilities to work at the improvement of recidivism into the community. And, let's see. Oh, and there's no dedicated space for treatment and mental health inside the facility. That's a concern in a modern correction facility. So moving on to the McKenzie Jail Annex. McKenzie is in much better shape than the main jail. However, it was never designed as a correctional facility. It features a lot of open dormitory style housing that is not really sufficient for the population as well. Although, again, they're doing a great job utilizing it for that purpose. It's not ideal in the setting of managing a jail population. And there is also absence there of program and treatment facilities. One other thing of note, with the two separate jails being, I believe, 6 miles apart, just creates a situation of inefficiency for the management of staff, transportation of prisoners, and things like that, that again make it challenging on the jail. Moving on to staffing, as I mentioned earlier, the extremely low levels of staffing make it difficult to meet the operational needs of the facility, and the physical plant definitely plays into that. Understaffing due to issues of staff recruitment and retention is an issue. Again, it's about workplace environment, conditions of the workplace. Modern correctional facilities understand that security staff, support staff, maintenance staff spend upwards sometimes of 16 hours a day in those facilities. And it's very difficult, the current conditions that the staff are up against, to ask them to work in those conditions, which plays into the recruitment and retention issues for somebody, a young person, to want to spend a career working in that environment. And those commitments of staff make it difficult in their interactions with the inmate population as well. So that's of concern. Again, I mentioned the main jail relies directly on remote supervision, which is not a best practice in jails across the nation. It's a cause for concern with incidents that happen at the jail. And it is expected that should the county decide to move forward and think about a new jail facility, newer jail designs operate in a much more efficient manner that make better use of space, personnel, and technology to ensure better outcomes and results with the criminal justice population. So, and we have completed a full report on all this. I'm giving high-level information pulled out of the report, but that information goes into greater detail in the report. Next, Carl Becker is going to talk about the population projections of the jail population.
Yeah, we took a deep dive into the data available on the current jail population to kind of try to discern what the trend was going to be for the future and what your future needs were going to be. What we see is that the jail population has grown somewhat over the last 5 to 7 years. The interesting thing about this is while the jail population has grown over that time, crime has actually gone down in Nueces County, arrests have gone down, and bookings have gone down significantly in the jail. But the jail population has gone up somewhat, and the reason for this basically is that while overall crime rates have gone down, violent crime is up in Nueces County, and what we see is a increase in the number of people committed to the jail for serious offenses, as you can see on the next slide. The felon population in the jail, while the jail population has grown slightly, has grown substantially over the last 7 years. Again, reflecting more serious offenders entering the jail who stay for much longer periods of time. So that's what's driving your jail population. And looking at the next slide, we go into some detail what that population looks like. About 43% of the inmate population is in for a violent felony charge. You get around 11 to 12,000 annual bookings. The total population is 80% felony. That includes drug felony cases. Average length of stay is about 37 days in the jail. That compares to 31 days was the average length of stay, probably 4 or 5 years ago. So again, you can see that average length of stay going up. And any given day, about 200 inmates in the jail are sentenced to TDCJ and waiting to be picked up. That was the status at the time we did the review. That has improved somewhat since then. But again, those serious offenders awaiting transport to TDCJ are a factor in your jail population. Despite the fact that you have a large number of violent offenders in your population, a large amount of activity in the jail is associated with processing people in and out as they enter the system. So About 2/3 of your releases are within 10 days. These are people who are being booked in, get their court date and get out. So you have a large population cycling through the jail for relatively minor offenses and a larger population that is staying there for a more extended period of time because of the severity of their offenses. Next slide, please. So in developing our projections, we believe that you're going to see basically steady growth, moderate growth in the jail population over the next 10 years, reaching around an average daily population of close to 1,400. You need around 1,600 beds to support that population because, again, the average is simply that. It's an average. It doesn't take into account fluctuations. You have peaks in your population where you need to house more inmates than the average. So we believe you need 1,600 beds. That also takes into account that you have a fair amount of capacity you have to reserve for special populations, so you're never going to utilize all your capacity at any given time. If you have a 64-bed unit for female offenders and you have 20 females, you're not going to obviously fill the rest of that unit with male offenders. So you have to account for some vacant beds in the projections because that's the realities of how jails operate. So again, our analysis indicates a need for around 1,600 beds over the next 10 years.
And Judge, that concludes the presentation. We wanted to open it up to you all for questions, if there were any follow-up.
I guess, do any of you want, I have a couple of questions on, basically, where do we go from here? What's the next step? I mean, we all know the shape the county's in. I mean, let's be clear. We understand this is a statutory responsibility of the county as well. So how do we work forward, or who do we work with, or how do we work on solutions on coming to something? It's a major cost. I mean, from my calculations, our jail is 48 years old. You know, buildings have a lifespan by all means, and these decisions in this court probably won't even affect when I'm here. Anything, they affect many years down the road of planning and decisions being made. So can you help me point me in the right direction? Help me see what we need to do.
Yeah, Judge, you're absolutely correct. It is quite an undertaking, and it takes quite a bit of time. Obviously, these are big decisions. They're big money decisions. They take the support of the community, the will of the community to move in that direction, to want to improve that system. There is, however, I'm glad you asked the question because I wanted to put that in the presentation. It's quite a process moving forward, and we are actually working on many similar projects across the country. And I'm happy to provide information about those specific projects at a later date. But as far as the process moving forward with jail planning, the first thing is really exploring the funding options of how a jurisdiction may fund. There's a lot of different options available. That, of course, is usually the biggest challenge in something of this magnitude, yes. So, and again, all of these are services that we are conducting currently in other projects across the country. Then site selection and site development, usually you need civil engineers and things to start looking at potential sites that a new jail may be constructed, whether or not it's adjacent to a current jail space, whether or not the county already owns property, has ideas. Site selection is a big part of that. From there, you would move on to developing a detailed space program, and that's quite an effort by professional planners that would actually come in and work with stakeholders that have that touch the justice system to understand exactly how much space would need to be dedicated to all of the different functions, services, living areas, public lobbies, and everything. We would develop a space program that assigns those areas and space that need to be built. Once you have a detailed space program, you have kind of a rough idea of the square footage required for your needs. You would want to get into a detailed cost modeling exercise where you start to look at how much the project would cost from there with the specific information. Then you would want to conduct a staffing analysis to understand how a new design and a new space program would impact the current resources. above and beyond or below what your current resources are now. So the staffing analysis is a big part that you don't want to forget. From there, you would develop, or you would determine the method of delivery, how you would want the project delivered, whether it be a design build, design bid build, construction manager at risk. You would then develop requests for proposals for design and construction services.
I think we know all of that
Yeah,
process of
yeah.
it. I think ours is, given the immediate next step, maybe
Yeah.
what we should do, and would that be the development strategy study possibly that we talked about yesterday? or
Absolutely.
something? So that
Yeah.
would be the very next step for us.
Absolutely, and that's something I would recommend. You know, the previous study was a needs assessment to understand what you need. From there, I would put out for bid to look at the actual feasibility of being able to carry out such a project here locally.
Okay. Does anyone else want to talk or have any questions? Sorry. I think we all know this is important issue. It's, you know, statutorily required. We all understand we're thinking for the future, and while we may not be sitting in these seats when any of plans or anything, if we were able to go forward, would even be into place, but it is something that we have to think about for the future. 1,600 beds. I know you're working on some other locations throughout the state. There are possibilities, and we talked about all the different avenues that we can go, which you would look into more extensively if the sheriff decides to move forward possibly with something. But there's public-private partnerships. I think we all need to keep an open mind when we're talking about this. It seems overwhelming, and the county does not have the funds to do this. This would have to be brought before the voters. This have to be a vested interest of our community as well. But that's what we're tasked to do, is to work on solutions. And we realize there's an issue. We realize there's going to be an issue, and we have to take care of our problems. So it's kind of like your roofs on your houses and everything else. At some point, putting Band-Aids on fixes, we all know there is a lifespan on some of these buildings, and there is a long planning time to get buildings replaced, so we have to work on that as well.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for your study.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
Yeah,
I think
no,
Commissioner
I just
Mottos
wanted to
now.
comment, appreciate the timeliness of this. I was at a luncheon the other day, just a few days ago, and there was many business leaders that were there, and they asked, what are some of the big topics facing the county? And I guess they expected, you know, economic development, which of course is a big one, but I did tell them, you know, a new jail is essential. And it was kind of a negative, which I guess it is, right? When you think about the need to have to create a bigger, newer one, but of course it's decades old, it needs replacement. And of course, the updates that we've gotten from the sheriff over the years have really explained and laid out the importance of technology and how that can require fewer staff that can control a larger inmate population. So I think that's just important. It was just kind of timely, at least for me, to be presented with that question. And I got to talk a little bit about it and told them how I was looking forward to this presentation. So people don't really think it's part of like a necessity, right? We have so many other issues that we need to talk about, but one, it is a requirement, and the timeliness is important. And like the judge said, the community buy-in to this. This is something that we have to have. This is not a partisan issue at all. This is about providing the care that's needed to house these inmates. It's to be able to have hopefully something with close access to the courthouse that helps reduce transportation issues. And of course, once again, that span of control that the sheriff has talked about before, as far as being able to do more with fewer officers, based with the most up-to-date technology. So that, in a sense, is it's a good topic to talk about. It's good to bring this forward, and I look forward to the next steps, because we do need to proceed on this. I mean, it's not one of those big ticket items, but it's definitely one that is on the community's radar, so to speak, and knowing that it is going to be perhaps very costly, right? Depending on the price tag of what jails are growing nowadays. So I thank you for this, and I think this will help continue to kind of grow that interest in the community as we move forward into the months and years ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Commissioner Hernandez, did you want to speak?
Yes,
Sorry.
Judge, I also want to thank this gentleman for coming and let us know what our needs is. But I also want to thank the sheriff for putting this together. If anybody knows, the sheriff does. Thank you, Sheriff.
Sheriff, did you want to speak or anything? Sorry.
I've done, Judge and Commissioners, about a year ago, working with Michael Robinson, we put out a RFP or an RFQ, whatever, to find a company that could do this study, and a company that had a significant resume in doing this type of study across the country, and we found these two gentlemen. And I'm extremely impressed with this guy, because y'all might remember a very controversial sheriff out in Arizona. This guy was a PIO for that sheriff, the national news kind of a guy, but they both have a pedigree. They both have an amazing resume. And so I would be remiss in my responsibilities as the Nueces County Sheriff if I didn't just take care of today, but take care of 5 years, 10 years from now. And it's kind of an analogy with the city and the county's current water issue, right? Long-term. And so this is a long-term look. And it's going to take a lot of work moving forward to see if we can do what we must do.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciate your support, Judge, on this. And just for clarification, I didn't pay that $200,000 for the study, the inmates did.
Exactly.
So every time they bought something in commissary.
That's good clarification too.
They paid for this, and so they're paying it forward, right? So thank you, and thank you, gentlemen.
But Sheriff, to give credit where credit's due, you have discretion on where you can use them, and we do appreciate you using those funds for this, because as you know, it's a big thing to take on, and now we gotta figure out how to do it. So thank you.
Hey, we
for
got the
doing it.
conversation started.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. Absolutely.
And Judge, for the record, I'd like to go ahead and change my vote to the motion, favor the motion on my item. And just for the record, to show that as long as we do find solutions and not financial involved, for the record.
For the record, yes, he's changing his vote to an aye instead of an abstain. Yes. Moving on now to item number 3, receive an update on the Tri-County Drainage Master Plan Study. Josh, I think I saw you come in. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. All right. Long story short, we're here to say that the project is complete, the study is complete. The Texas Water Development Board has received, reviewed, and accepted the results of the study. We'll go to the next slide. It's just a title there. It's just a quick recap on the study. This was a Texas Water Development Board flood infrastructure funded project, Category 1, which is a watershed scale study. And the 2 watersheds that were studied in this were the Petronilla Creek watershed, kind of from the headwaters in Jim Wells County up near Alice, down through Nueces County and into Baffin Bay. And then the Oso Creek watershed from somewhere up near Robstown down into Corpus Christi. So we did focus on the rural areas. The city of Corpus Christi was in the process of completing their own needs assessment and drainage master plan. So we did focus, I'll say, more in the rural areas of the county, the ones that, after speaking with all of you in several public meetings, that we knew needed some attention. So if you go to the next slide, please. Here's the kind of the key dates. The last time we spoke with many of you was around the end of May of 2023. Had a public meeting and we discussed the draft. We had the draft report completed and we had kind of the overall projects identified, some preliminary costs and whatnot. And then shortly thereafter, less than 2 weeks later, we submitted an actual formal draft report to the Water Development Board and to Juan in the county for review. June 26th, all of those projects were moved into the state flood plan, and that's an important piece that I'm going to get to as far as our next steps. So all of the projects that were identified and the other areas that we identified as needing more study throughout the duration of our project were put into the state flood plan, which is important for next steps and grants. Somewhere there around the beginning of August, we did receive comments on the draft report. Those were addressed over the summer and just here at the beginning of the year, January 9th. The TWDB issued a final acceptance of the study, and that state flood plan has been adopted as well. So go on to the next step here. Okay, so throughout the result of that study, again, it was about a year and a half's worth of time. We looked at 19 areas, we looked at more than that, 30 some odd areas. 19 have been moved forward into the state flood plan as areas that could need further evaluation to determine some project improvements. But we definitely identified them as need areas. Of the other remaining 13, we actually advanced 2 projects. We met with several of you guys on separate occasions to go through different projects and alternatives that would help alleviate flooding. Those 13 projects are in the state flood plan again. And this April 15th date I put up there, we've been talking with Anna a little bit too. That is when the abridged applications are due. So each of those 13 projects and the 19 FMEs are eligible to apply for grant funding from the Water Development Board for this next round of FIF that is out. Abridged applications are pretty simple. They're one-pagers that say you're interested and what you kind of want to do. Another important thing for those FMPs in particular, that's flood mitigation projects, they can be phased. I know Commissioner Chesney, we talked about that a lot with some of the projects in your area. They're big projects, they're high-dollar projects. We're well aware of that, but we did want to make sure that we captured what was necessary to provide a meaningful flood reduction.
Hey, can I jump in, Judge, just for a
Yes, go
second, if
ahead.
you don't mind? I did get some calls last night regarding the part about Nottingham Acres. So there's some folks that I know are kind of down the road, but apparently either they didn't get wind of it or whatever the case may be, they're just getting wind of it. So what do we do to get, I don't know where we are, and are y'all still working with us on this going forward so that I can put someone in contact with y'all, with them, to kind of talk about some of the things that we came up with on that they're a little concerned about? Or how?
We certainly can do that. I mean, our contract is complete.
Okay.
That was a Water Development Board funding along with, the county's partnership. We have, finalized that, and I believe the final invoices and such were approved this morning. But, I mean, we're certainly happy to help message what needs to be messaged, especially if those are things that y'all are going to be moving forward with.
Well, and that's the question, I guess, is where do we, using the judge's terms from the last one, where do we go from here?
Sure.
Because it's great to do this study, but what do we do with it now?
So that's what this slide here is for, is what I want to make sure that you and Juan and Anna know that that was basically getting you to the point where now you have good data and you have projects identified that you can take for further funding for actual implementation. Okay,
So I guess
FMPs in particular, and Nottingham has, a couple, actually 3 different FMPs right around that same area.
right, so I just need to figure out whatever, not knowing yet what we're gonna do and how we're gonna go about it. I do need to, I guess I'm gonna leave it with Juan. I need to, maybe for now, until we figure out how we're gonna use half or whoever we're gonna use, whatever we're gonna do on this, I need to get you with these Nottingham. It's some folks around, it's about the Nottingham Acres FRA 27, the one I sent you. So I just need to get you connected with them and kind of get their input as to what concerns they have about the drawing that they've seen. And then I guess you're going to go through the slide and tell us or suggest to us where we can go from here, because I don't want this to do all this work.
Absolutely.
And put it on the shelf and not go get federal funds or state funds or whatever we can get, because that was what the whole reason we did this
100%.
study was so that we had the data to go start making requests.
Right,
So-
and that's the purpose of this here, and make sure that you guys are aware of that April 15th timeline. Like I said, the 5th, we suspect, it's the Water Development Board, so every year, depending on what the legislature does, is how they fund the Flood Infrastructure Fund program. That money, how much is going to be there, it can vary year to year. I think this current year, we're somewhere around $700 million that they have allocated for the Flood Infrastructure Fund program, which everybody in the
For
state
the state of Texas, yes.
is going to be applying for.
Right, well,
So-
and that's what I need, I guess what we need, Judge, is some sort of recommendation, and I would have said from Susan Roth, but I don't want to mention her name and get everybody mad again, but from somebody that shows us, okay, what's the plan now that we go for, you know, what do we do?
Who
And
would
someone
be
come
that
back with a
person?
proposal
Sure,
pretty,
yeah,
pretty
abs-
quick.
Yes.
Because we gotta get these applications in.
Right.
And we may not get any this go around, but we gotta get going, so we're gonna need a proposal from somebody that tells us, okay, the next step is, because unless anybody here or somebody in the county knows how to do this, we're gonna need some help figuring out how to apply for these things, and maybe it's GrantWorks, maybe it's Anna, maybe it's y'all, I don't know, but we need some direction.
I'll say that there's gonna be two deadlines for the Flood Infrastructure Fund applications. This first, the April 15th, is an abridged application. That's basically kind of like your letter of interest. You're showing them, hey, this is a study that we completed. The fact that it was a fifth study that developed it is good for you, because they like to fund things that they've already funded.
They've already funded, yes. Continue.
But also, it is in the state flood plan for Region 13, which is the Nueces River Basin, right? Including these areas too. So you're saying, hey, we've already coordinated appropriately with the Water Development Board and the state flood planning efforts. These projects were identified. They were advanced to the FMP status, which is good. That puts you in a better category, that you're ready to go on design and potentially construction with funding. So those 13 areas, including those that you're talking about, can take to that. So this April 15th is the abridged application. It's about a one-pager. Honestly, Anna can do it between what she knows and then what's in the state, or what's in the flood plan documentation. And that just says, Water Development Board, we're interested. And here's the project, and here's what we want to do. And then, like I said, you can phase it a little bit as well. So if there's, that one project is $20 million and you know you're not going to have the 25% or whatever the match would be required, how do we phase it to where we can do something now? And then tell them that's what you want to do. And then later in July, the full applications are due. And you may need more assistance with those, I don't know, but
And is
that's
that what y'all do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Judge, we can't vote because it's just a discussion today, but unless someone's got an objection, I would sure like somebody to come back and everybody can say who they, somebody to come back and tell us how best to do this, and this is your expertise. I'm certainly willing to get I don't know if we have to do an RFQ or an RFP, I don't really know.
Michael's back
We can
there.
look into that, honestly, yeah, Mike needs to, because there
still wanna
are
miss these
some
deadlines.
things that helping with the grant versus helping with design
Let's
and
put it on
implementation.
for the next
Yeah.
agenda to come back with something if we need to do an RFP or
You
something.
want me to? Is that what
The
you're saying?
big
Or you-
thing we wanted to do today was let you know that deadline is out there. It actually just got extended from March 15th to April, so it's
Wow.
good news.
Are you saying you're gonna put it on? or
I
you-
think
or-
I'll put it
okay,
on the
all right.
agenda to get with Michael Robinson and see how we can incorporate your help in moving all of our projects and how much we need to do with the study that we already have the information from.
Right.
One more thing before, I would like to see if you are the people or anything. I know the gentleman from Bishop in the back, Mr. Youngman, was here and had his issues. I don't think you were here when his question came up in executive
I'm aware of
about
it.
the ditch problem and the drainage and
Fiesta,
so,
in Fiesta area.
yeah, if you
So-
could
so
address
Bishop-
that for us, so
Right,
the
so
answer to that, yes.
I don't have a good answer for Bishop area,
Okay.
is the long story short, because the study focused on the Petronia Creek watershed. That grant had to be at watershed scale, so that's why we looked at basically the Petronia Creek watershed, and
That's why they
Bishop
were
drains
left
south
out.
to San Fernando.
Okay.
Yeah, but y'all figured y'all gonna widen that bridge, and that's gonna create a problem. Y'all made a recommendation to widen that bridge, and that.
In
that-
Driscoll?
No, in the Fiesta area, which is drainage district number 3 area, which that will create a problem.
So we did check, we did propose a lot of different bridge widenings, but to get it to the FMP status, we did have to prove, and through the study, that we were not gonna be creating an adverse impact. So there is some improvements that were made, that we have the data that backs up, that shows that if
It
those
won't be a
improvements are
problem.
made, we are
So
not
there's-
creating an
so
adverse
Is
impact.
it not the final data
anywhere else.
then?
I'm sorry?
So this is not the final data? There's
No,
still more?
it's in there, no,
It's in
sir.
there, well,
It's
I
in
didn't see it, I didn't see, other than that, it might, you know, and I have a concern too, because my area, most of my area floods.
Yes, sir.
And I thought when we were doing the drainage, tri-county drainage, grant, over $2 million, I thought it was supposed to kind of, how do we stop the water from coming to our areas, right? Seemed like we're working more inside than outside. And I thought the grant was to eliminate water coming inside to the areas. By the time we got to the area, there should be minimal water, right? Or less water.
Well, I'll
But-
tell you,
Hold on, let me just finish real quick. Because it's and I don't see any of mine right here on this study. You know, I don't see any one of mine, but, and all the other ones, you said no concern, no concern, no concern. All those that have no concern have concerns. You know, everybody, even Cindy Lane, Indian Trail, La Paloma is mine, but I pulled it out and it's still there, you know, so the ones I put in are not there. So I don't, how do we, the last meeting we had, you know, Susan Ross was there, and we gave her a list, and we changed things around. We changed it, you know, but, and I said, this is the ones I want, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, because we had to come up with 4, and, you know, whatever it was. So La Paloma was there, and we had removed, Paloma, nothing wrong with La Paloma. You know, it's in a high area, water drains, you know, it's only 2 roads. So, I mean, I don't know why it's even on the study, but, you know, when we had pulled it out, but anyway, I don't see, you know, anything as far as, you know, like Petronila, number 1 and 2 estates, which is also Petronila Creek, and, you know, where's, Tierra Grande, it also goes to Petronila Creek.
Yes.
So I don't see none of those on there that were on that list. So, I mean, we spend all this money right now trying to do drainage, but yet the study didn't even show that.
I do know for a fact we studied several of those areas you mentioned, and I mean, I think I need to go back through them with you and show you the projects that were developed out of it. Petronilla Estates, I do believe, as we were going through that, kind of whittling down to from 30 to 15, like you mentioned, I believe y'all were investing some ARPA money, doing some projects out there at the time.
CDBG.
Maybe it was CDBG. There was some other work being done near Petronilla that we said, okay, since we're doing work over here with this money, let's look in one of these other areas within your precinct. I know we looked at Indian Creek. I know we looked at Ranch and Cindy.
But we didn't know you were gonna eliminate, because ARPA funds, they were gonna eliminate us out of the whole picture. I mean, even though we
It
had
definitely
ARPA
didn't
funds,
eliminate from the whole picture.
even if we had ARPA funds, I mean, we still should have been in this study. Because we needed,
Well-
but we're gonna probably need more funds in the future.
Okay. And I will say this too, from every bit of those 2 watersheds was mapped and studied. The part that we're talking about with different project areas was kind of an extra step too. We said, okay, we've got new mapping, we've got flood depths everywhere in those 2 watersheds. When we then went to, okay, let's find individual mitigation projects, flood risk reduction projects, that's where we looked at specific areas and trying to find specific ways to alleviate flooding. Now, and we did that for 3 or 4 areas within your precinct. I'm happy to go over what we proposed for
You know,
those.
some of the studies were sent to you guys, or to Susan Ross and all that. Some of the studies we already had done previously to all this, because we already had plans to do certain things. And some of those assessments already done, and we sent them.
We incorporated anything that was being done or had been done into what we did. So everything we're proposing is new relative to that.
But why do we have no concerns, and 90% of those have no concerns?
I'll go through those with you, because I don't recall ever saying there was no concerns, even if there was areas that we focused
My bad.
on.
It
But
was like somebody's.
Yeah, well, I just don't agree with the fact that 90% of them would say no concerns. Everyone out there has a concern. They've gotta
I
have a
would agree.
concern. If they flood, you know, and we have a problem with drainage, and, you know, so I don't, you know, when I look at that, it's no concerns. And then in the back page, you know, on the what it says on the capital improvement plans, you know, even you have them in Driscoll, no concerns, and Driscoll is a big concern. So,
definitely, no, well, hold on, I know Driscoll is a huge concern, and we
Yeah.
had a very expensive
Okay.
proposed project there. Now, that said, I'll say that there are a lot of these, in terms of Water Development Board and the way that they evaluate projects, they do look at a, cost-benefit analysis, right? And so, like, the number of homes that were able to benefit, the value of those homes relative to the cost of the project, a lot of these did not score well in terms of that. But there's a lot of things that are going well for the county in that that most of these are in very rural areas, and that they have.
Well, Driscoll says here, no concerns were
I'll have-
identified.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, like I said, I don't.
On the report you gave us.
Okay, and that's, let me look through what you're looking at specifically, because.
Well, 106, page 106.
Page 106.
I really don't, I mean, I'm not really happy with that report.
Okay, okay.
It's
Sorry.
analyzed, it's over, yeah.
I'm glad it's over, yeah.
Okay, this is the environmental constraints, I'm sorry. So part of the evaluation of all these projects, to make sure that they were eligible to go forward and get future funding, was to make sure that we had evaluated some of the environmental constraints associated with them as well. So that, chapter 10 that you're looking at there, page 106, all of the different flood risk areas, when it says no concerns, that means there are not gonna be any environmental constraints that would prevent the development of that project.
Well, I thought we're trying to find ways to eliminate flooding.
Yes.
So
And I'll just tell you, I can speak very high level to that. We did, when we first got our new existing models and mapping created for everywhere in those two watersheds, one of the first things we did, we talked with Juan, we talked with a lot of you and said, how do we keep water from getting to these areas? And quite frankly, it's not possible.
Well, we could have, I mean, we said that from the beginning, you know, they was.
Right, but I mean, we looked at from watershed scale, like we said, okay, if we were to put a detention pond near.
Everybody needs a retention pond. Every
Right,
area
but
needs
I'm talking
one
about
or
like a
two-
dam.
one or
We
two.
basically looked at what a dam the same size as Lake Corpus Christi would look
But
like
they
in
need to
that
start
watershed.
Banquete, they start, that's where the water
Yeah.
comes from, Banquete out in Chihuahua County.
And a lot of the flooding problems that we saw, and our models back it up, and we can show you all these results, show that a lot of the flooding is also a localized flooding concern. There are watershed issues, but there's also local flooding issues. It's flat, and when you get a heavy rain, it doesn't have anywhere to go.
Well, but
And that's
then
what we
it
were
does-
looking at doing, is a lot of detention ponds, a lot of channel widening to try to give the water places to go away from
I think
people.
all of us are dealing with the drainage or thinking about retention ponds.
Yeah.
So it's not, we didn't get it from the study, it's things we already know.
There,
You know.
well, right, and what we helped do is identify the best places for those detention ponds.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm not very happy with the report, so.
But we do have those dates to move forward, and we can work with Anna to make the applications. So on behalf of the county, possibly bring, Teresa, will you put that for me to add on the agenda to bring them to see if you can help us with those applications, or decide what the focus should be and where we can help the best benefit, so we are focused on our ask and not just,
Agreed.
yeah.
So, excuse me, I represent Driscoll. Okay, and I am concerned, and citizens there have been dealing with flooding for a long time. What would it take for us to alleviate that? Is it gonna take a good-sized retention pond? Or
It
how do we?
was several things. There was a couple of big detention ponds, channel improvements, culvert improvements, roadway improvements. A big part of Driscoll too is access, particularly during flood events, getting emergency services in and out. So our proposed project from a very high level, we looked at $85 million to really make any kind of dent in the flooding
Wow.
for Driscoll.
Well, thank you. And I do have a question for Anna, so.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet.
Yes.
Don't worry, Anna, it's a very simple question. Can council or government help us with any of these projects? Is there grants that we can apply for?
Through the Council of Governments?
Yes.
I know they apply and they recommend on our behalf to the Office of the Governor. Emily, and I can see if there's anything out there, but they apply themselves and they help us as a recommendation for other grants available.
Council or government applies themselves?
Yes,
So-
for the area, and then, and sometimes they speak on our behalf of what we need for other grants.
Yeah, okay, well, we need to let them know here, that council or government knows that we're really in dire need in those areas.
Okay.
Driscoll.
We have those applications on the projects that we just pulled back to refocus with GrantWorks is going to be helping us with, and that's through the COG money. That's true,
But I'm
yes.
just hoping that
Yeah,
includes Driscoll
absolutely.
and Banquete.
Yes, the
You'll be
CDBG is
having your
going,
meetings, the CDBG money, yes.
it's coming through the
Sorry,
COG.
I said
yes.
COG, it's coming through
I
the
mean,
COG, but it's,
It's coming
Through, to
yes,
ULO.
yes. Uh-huh.
All right, thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for being here this morning. Are there any other questions for them? If not, thank y'all. We appreciate you being here, and thank you for all the work and the meetings I had with you out there. Appreciate it very much, guys. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, and there's a correction. I think you all got an email on this. Discuss and approve the incentive fee for Global Spectrum. We have a contract with them. And the fee was calculated, we had Edward and Teresa are our contacts for the fairgrounds, so they were instrumental in incorporating and coming up with this fee. There is one correction, the fee should be $25,600 owed, and we'll need an emotion to approve the incentive fee, and then we will also need a motion to issue the payment. And I believe, Arcelia, y'all got notice of this, and you're clear on this, the calculation and how it came about, and the fairgrounds is all in agreement with this. So just want to make that clear before anybody made any motions or thinking you were notified that the calculation problem and stuff. Yes.
Excuse me, Judge, what was the fee again? The amount?
$25,600. And this is an annual fee that they get, that's calculated by percentage, and that. So I would accept a motion to approve the incentive fee as amended, coming down to the $25,600 amount. And can we do both to issue the payment for it at the same time, or do I have to do 2 separate motions? Kara's usually.
I think you can do whatever you want, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to include them both.
Whether you get 3
Thank
votes
you.
for it, as long as you
Let's
get
get this over with, yes. I have the motion, and we have a second from Commissioner Hernandez.
As long as you get 3 votes.
Yeah. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Arcelia. Thank you, Edward and Teresa, for your work on that. Item number 5, discuss and consider approval of a memorandum of understanding between Nueces County and Texas A&M University to conduct their unmanned aircraft systems. This is a pretty cool project that we have, yeah.
Very
we have,
cool
I'll
project.
second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you both for being here. Not necessary, but we appreciate what you're doing. Item number 6, discuss and consider accepting and ratifying the donations provided to the Nueces County Robstown Community Center for Winter Storm Heather Overnight Warming Center. And before we just do a motion and do that, I know we had a lot of people helping with this too, but thank you, Ms. Hawkins, for your report on that and the extensive paperwork and documentation, which this was a minor emergency, but in emergencies, you have to have that kind of paperwork and documentation, signatures, receipts, everything. I think all the commissioners were passed out a binder a few weeks ago after the storm, so you should have had the opportunity to look at it, but thank you for all of your work on that. So
you for being
you and
out-
Edward as well. I know Edward was involved.
Thank you for being out there with Edward.
Yes, exactly. Edward as well.
Was very helpful. Believe me, it was a team effort.
So I'll make the
So,
motion
second.
to accept the donations that were given, and Commissioner Chesney is seconding. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed,
Thank you, ma'am.
same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Number 7, discuss and consider approval of the interlocal agreement between Nueces County and the city of Robstown for fire and emergency services. And I know you've been working very hard on that as well, so Ms. Hawkins?
What we've done is I'm trying to get them on the same schedule as the ESD2, because they're the only 2 that charge us for fire. The change that is in this particular ILA is I'm putting everybody on a monthly invoicing instead of a quarterly. That helps us budget the amount of money that we need to pay, because the fires fluctuate, so depending on what kind of season you have. So it'll give us a better idea, and I talked to Trish, that it would give us a better
And it gets us more in line with what the other interlocals that we have with everyone else. There's-
Exactly.
Yes.
The other change that we made to it, because the other contracts we had didn't have an unlimited false call alarms. So we went back and looked at the past 6 months of how many false calls were made and averaged them out, and they typically were about 3.5 a month. So we have put a cap on false alarm charges at 5 per month. And those were really the only changes that were made to it. It will expire at the end of September, our fiscal year, so I can have both ESD2s and Robstown on the same schedule. So that's really all that was done with this. And they passed it at their city council meeting on January 21st or 22nd.
You went to that meeting. I'll make the motion to pass and approve.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes, and thank you for all your work on that, too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Item number 8, discuss and consider approval of an engineering service contract for $50,000 with Adura for Precinct 2 Colonia Septic System electrical improvements, and it is funded through Precinct 2 General Capital Funds. So,
So moved.
Second.
a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you. Item number 9, discuss and consider approval for method of procurement, IFB invitation for bids for the Parker Pool Improvement Project. And Edward, you're here to tell us about that, but I know we already have the funding assigned for it. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second.
I would like him just to tell the public what we're doing, if
Yeah.
everybody doesn't
Discussion?
mind. Yes, thank you.
Discussion. We have a motion and a second, so let us know what the improvements are.
So, Judge and Commissioners, thank you, and thank you for the funding. I know it's been a large pool to get to this point, but it's going to be a beautiful project. The facility has been around since the 1960s. If you look at the plaque on the building, it's been there. We've made improvements that have gotten us to this point. The new improvements will address the bathrooms and the concession area, as well as the area within the meeting area or where our staffing is located at. We also have a gazebo that's being built, and then the biggest portion of this is going to be in the control system or the control room, where again this pool was put in back in the 60s. So a lot of things we're going to do is going to upgrade the pumps and the electronic systems that are located there. We've worked with our partners, which is the Friends of Aquatics. They're also our help manage the property out there, and they're very good. And they've had a chance to look at the plans, and they're very stoked about it. And the main thing is that they want us to paint the pool. That's one of the big things that we're going to be doing as part of this project. There are some lead times on some of the items, so we will commence the work now, and we'll do the interior of the building, but the pumps and stuff, once we order them, may come in after season. So we'll be operating throughout the period of time.
And Edward, just to be clear too, you have run these plans by the Flower Bluff, the pool committee, I'll call them, Friends of Aquatics. Friends of Aquatics, yeah, Flower Bluff Aquatic, and gotten their input, and they're good with it, and they like it, and everything looks good.
Correct.
And part of what we're gonna do, just for the court's edification, is because pool season is upcoming, we won't probably get everything done before the season, but because the pumps will have some lead time, so once this has to get bid, we'll get the main structure part of it done, so people will see the aesthetic upgrades, and then when the pump comes in, we'll finish that part of it after the season is over, so that we don't interrupt pool season, and that'll continue on. So that's not only for the court, but for the public that is watching and is interested, because that's important to them, and that pool's so important to them. So Edward, I appreciate your work on this. Thank you very much, and I would make a motion. Oh, I think it's already been
We have a motion and a second
Sorry.
already.
That's already done. Thank you.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. I am going to skip number 10. I understand Heather is on her way here. She might get here in just a second, so we'll pull it back if she walks in the room. Item number 11, discuss and consider upcoming Commissioners Court meeting dates and workshops. Are there any questions or anything to that? I don't think so. Any commissioners have any problems?
No, ma'am.
Then
Second.
Moving on, item number B1. Anna, discuss and consider current Nueces County grants with a cash match and related matters. And I believe you have in your packet.
Judge, this was really one that I'd asked to put on, and just for the courts to be able to look at what we had upcoming in regards to anything that might be happening on here. So I'll let, if you want to, I don't know if there's really a presentation.
If there's really
or
a presentation.
It was
or
really just so that everybody could
just
see.
information.
Yeah, it was more of an information, so the public could see, that everybody could see what was what could be, coming up. I think the, the one of note, I know it's not coming up, but you and I had a little discussion when we were talking about this, I'd like the court to hear too, about the public defender's grant and where that is and where that stands, because that at some point will potentially greatly affect the county's budget. So if you could maybe talk about that one for the court, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The Public Defender's Office, and needs to be a correction too, because at that time that we spoke, we were waiting for confirmation of an extension. The original grant was for 2 years, and the date of the contract started July 1st, 2022. So we were expecting it to end June of this year. And so we asked for an extension. And we were hoping it'd be till, the request was because we didn't hire Dennis until November 2022. So we were hoping the extension would be November of 2024. We did get confirmation from Mr. Edwin Colfax that the extension is in, and we will bring it to court next week or next court. But it's only through 9/30/2024. So it's basically just a month or so difference, but we will have to bring it in budget in order to, the cost will be 80% from the state and 20% match.
So let's talk about that for a second. We haven't spent all that money, because even though we brought her in November of '22, right, she didn't gear up for several months.
Correct.
So what happens to the corpus of that unused grant money? Is it just gone?
Everything is a reimbursable thing, so we have to spend it first and then request reimbursement. So her staff has been increasing, so she wasn't fully staffed with all the positions that are budgeted for until December of this past year. So now we're trying to see, okay, if she stays fully staffed, that money's good. I mean, the highest budget amount is personnel and fringe.
But in theory, we're not gonna get the full 2 years of value.
No, we're
And
not.
so we're not going to have gotten, I think what you're saying, we're not going to have gotten the full 2 years of value of that grant, because it's physically impossible to get it under the terms that you're kind of relaying back, that you've gotten back, because there's no way you can spend all of it from, day one, because you have to gear up. So to me, that extension should even be asked for to go longer, because it should be from when we were staffed up, or we're not getting the full value. And that's going to be a little bit of a misrepresentation unintentionally by us, but that's going to be a little bit of a misrepresentation to this community by saying we had 2 years fully paid for, when in fact we're not getting 2 years fully paid for, right? Or am I missing something?
You are correct, sir. But we have been working with Mr. Edwin Colfax, and he is, ensuring us that he will work with us to kind of keep using their money. This pot of money that they have allocated to us is part of their ARPA funding. So they're trying to make sure that it's spent correctly.
Well, we'll
So-
spend it. I mean,
So
we'll-
they're, with the
We
budget.
just need more time. Well,
Right,
but
well,
they're
a
like
lot of
us.
it was like equipment and furniture. She's just getting her furniture, so
Right.
that expense, because they're moving, and part of it was also the construction. So a lot of this is going to be spent. And we just hope that, they continue to work with us in order to use all these funds. It may not be 100%, but at least, we can at least only capture the 20% match opposed to going all the way through to.
Well, right, and I think if they really will truly work with us, because I get, they've got to spend it by 26, just like we do, okay? They've got to allocate it by 24, just like we do. They've done that.
Yes, sir.
So I understand that, but if they're really truly going to work with us, and this is where you need to get the judges involved, because this was Judge Maderi's, project, and the judges all signed off on it, we're going to need some help, because it's truly not fair to this county and these taxpayers for us to start already having to pay 20%, because that's not what the spirit of the deal was. The spirit of the deal was we were going to get 2 full years, which was an amount of money that equaled 3-point-something million. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly.
3.6.
Thank you, Teresa, my rock star who knows all the numbers. $3.6 million. Well, if we don't get that $3.6 million, that's not right and fair, and that's not the spirit of what this deal was. So you're going to have to pull the judges in on this to get them to help, because we shouldn't. The way I calculated this when you and I talked, and if I'm wrong, you can tell me, we shouldn't have to be paying for any of this in our next year's budget because we haven't spent all the corpus. Now, if they're going to hold us to, these timeframes that.
You can carry it over.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but they're not agreeing to that yet.
They're agreeing to the
to
funding to
some.
continue, but it would be with the 20% match. At this time, it's October 1st, 2024.
Bring that forward to spend it.
Exactly. It should be brought forward because we were given $3.6 million, and we will not have spent that $3.6 million to no fault of our own. So we should get that whole $3.6 million, because because when that 20% comes around, that's a whole different discussion for this court, and we've got to give Danis the opportunity to prove to this court that it's worth continuing to pay for it, and she hasn't had time to do that. She didn't have enough statistics yet, in my opinion, because she hadn't been geared up. We have to be fair in assessing this, and I'm telling you, if I have to assess this for this budget, based on the limited time we've had, I'm gonna have a whole different impression than if Danis gets 2 full years to show me different. So I'm begging you to get these judges involved now, and I'm one person, but I'm not gonna be ready to pull the trigger on spending 20% when we haven't even spent the 3.6 million yet. So please that's why I put this on, and that's when this came back, and I said, please put this public defender, because I wanted this discussion to be out here, and I wanted the rest of the court to be really clear. This is costly if we don't get to use it all. It's gonna be costly as heck.
But if we do spend it, can we get reimbursed?
Yes, I mean, as we're spending it, we're
If they-
requesting,
Right
we
now,
request it
if
on a
they
quarter basis.
extend,
If they agree.
But that's the question that we have to ask, is the extension. Yes.
Otherwise, so the court knows, 3.6 million, that's 1.8 a year. This coming budget, if they don't agree to extend and give us all to us, we're gonna have to come up with $360,000, which is our 20% of the 1.8, folks. So hear it now in February.
And we'll get it back.
No, not unless they agree. If they don't agree,
Get it back for
But if
our
they spend, if we spend
20%.
it, they're gonna have to
It would
reimburse.
only-
no, they don't, unless they agree to extend it past this deadline, because we can't physically spend it between now and October of '24, but there's no possible way to spend it. Because,
And in the document that I attached as of, by the expenditure report of 12/31/23, the remaining balance was a 2.6. So it's not gonna be a 20% of the 3.6. It will
of the
basically be.
1.8, it's 20% of the 1.8.
Because it's 2
'cause-
years at 3.6.
Yeah,
so,
it's, in
yeah.
other words, it's, the way I understand it, it goes 100 for 2 years, 80, 60, 40, right? So that means if they don't agree to extend this past October of 24,
24.
then we are gonna have to come up with, as a court, $360 more thousand starting this coming budget
This coming
cycle.
budget cycle,
That's
that's
not
right.
acceptable to me, because we haven't gotten 2 years. And again, I'm only one vote, I can get outvoted, I get it. But I think the court needs to hear this really clearly. This is a big deal, that if we don't get this resolved, we're gonna have to make a decision a lot faster on this public defender office than is fair to have to make, because Danis needs, as I said, she needs to get 2 years of numbers under her belt to come show us how valuable this is or isn't, in regards to saving attorneys. That was the whole, remember, that was the whole debate. This was gonna eventually save us attorney's fees. Otherwise, we're gonna give away $1 million, and we're gonna have to start paying $360,000. That's King's X for me, let me just tell you. So you can tell, please let the judges know we need them, and we need them badly to get involved, and I wanted the court to hear all this.
Anna, excuse me, I'm sorry. Is the public defender office ready to go?
Yes, they've been operating. Actually, in the past 2 quarters, they provided y'all an update.
So all the construction, everything's done?
No,
Oh, as far as
no, not on that yet.
ain't done
Yeah.
Oh.
They're moving, that's not gonna be ready till the end of February, I think.
But they're operating on the 3rd floor.
They're here in their
But they're
offices.
still lagging to
Yes.
finish?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, thanks. We need to get it done.
yeah, thanks. Thank you, Anna.
Okay.
I think that's it. Moving on to Public Works, item number 1, discuss road improvements Santa Clara Drive. Juan, you're here, private roadway.
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, this is just pretty much an update or a presentation on Santa Clara Drive. The road wasn't constructed initially per the standards of the county. The owners and the developer are planning on doing the improvements. And we're just bringing it up to the attention of court that once these improvements are completed, if they're done per our standards, we'll be bringing it back to Commissioners Court for approval, for recommendation to accept the maintenance on the right of way.
So there's no vote or anything needed
No,
now?
ma'am.
You're just
This-
an information for
Yes.
this. Let us know it will be coming back, and you have to accept it first, so you will let us know on whether you want us to.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct, Judge.
Okay,
It's about a mile stretch.
yeah. Any questions for him on that? Then moving on to item number 2, discuss and consider approval of a no-cost change order number 1 for Hazel Bazemore Park, the new restrooms. It's just an extension of the date, I understand, the finish timeline or something?
That's correct, Judge.
Yeah.
We're just extending the timeline. The project's,
I'm waiting on the other guys. Yeah.
the project is like 99.5% complete. So they're just waiting on the
I'll
gate.
make the motion to approve.
Okay, thank
Excuse me,
you.
Judge, when there's gonna be monies left over, right?
That's correct, Commissioner. There's gonna be about $31,000 left over in the project of savings, and we'll be bringing back that to Commissioners Court.
Judge, I'd like to, make it known that, there's gonna be monies left over. I'd like to put that money into an exercise arena that we're gonna build there,
Into a what? I can't hear.
an exercise area.
But today's item, that will have to
Oh,
be
no, I
brought back.
understand that. I just
Yeah,
wanted to-
today's item is just approving the no cost, so I made the motion
Before the
to,
money's taken away.
Save the money.
well, yeah, and I made the motion. You want to second it since it's your park?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And yes, Commissioner, with your funds, you can bring that back and decide you want to do something else with it.
Thank you.
Item number 3, discuss and consider approval for method of procurement for Nueces County Jail and Courthouse roof improvement projects. I know we're talking about going out for bids. I know I did talk to the sheriff, and I believe I asked you and Govind about the sheriff's roof right now is fine. The critical area is our roofs and the breezeway between the two with the plastic on top. I would like for us to focus on that first with funding to try to get this done. Yes,
And Judge, that's part of this project
Yes,
that's
yeah.
being presented.
okay. So I say we go out for bids. We have a motion from Commissioner Gonzalez. I will
Second.
second that. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Hernandez, you're seconding. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Item number 4, discuss and consider approval for Nueces County retrofit for veteran services and social services.
Yes.
That's just your work downstairs that you're doing?
This is for the Veterans and Social Services area, Judge. It's work here at the 3rd floor and also at the 1st floor. And we're just requesting permission to go out for bids.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in,
And Judge, and yeah, that's funded by ARPA funds?
yes,
Yeah.
the
That is-
funding is
that is
already
correct.
Yeah, okay.
designated and not to
Sorry,
go
thank
over,
you.
so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Item number 5, discuss and consider approval of no-cost change order for the county courthouse 6th floor public defender's office. That is a time extension
That
as
is
well.
a no-cost change order.
Yes.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And your last one, discuss and consider accepting a donation. You have some property that was donated, 1.721 acres of land from Superior H&H Development LLC for a drainage project. Thank you very much.
That's correct, Judge.
Superior, yes.
And on that one, Judge, the drawings for the design are complete, and we'll be coming back to Commissioners Court for recommendation to go out for bids on that project, and also to accept the property once we have the finalized on the meets and bounds.
Okay, this isn't, then we don't have a motion to it.
No, no,
This
ma'am, no
is
motion.
accepting
Judge,
it, so we're not
Does
accepting
discuss
it
and
today.
consider, no, contingent on, or no? No?
Yeah.
Discuss and consider.
So we did the last time.
I want to thank Superior H&H for donating that.
No, it said
Contingent
approval.
upon the,
It said approval of the last one.
can we do that the same way we did the last one, contingent upon the,
Just so it doesn't have to come back and it can keep moving.
I think you can do that. We don't have value, we
The
don't
leaps and
have
bounds.
documents, and so just like some of the other things, we're waiting on documents from those entities, but.
But-
So who made the motion? Commissioner Hernandez, or no? And you, are you
I
okay
don't think
amending it to
anybody
say
has yet.
contingent?
No motion yet.
there isn't a motion yet, so you can, so.
What's his, it's his project. I was just gonna,
Go ahead and make your motion.
I would just say we just go ahead and make the motion to, accept the donation of 1.721 acres land from Superior H&H Development LLC for a drainage project in the Stonegate area, contingent upon all the paperwork being properly vetted by the county attorney's office.
Commissioner Hernandez seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. I'm going to go back to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Juan.
Sorry, Michael, I saw you get up, but I have the Barisi Village people and Heather here. I'm going to pull you up. Item number 10, receive an update on Barisi Village project. We've been working with you all and listening to this, and we're very excited. I know there's a 30-second video, or are we doing that first, or are we doing yours, Heather, first? What are we doing?
Whichever.
Yeah. Heather's first, okay. Heather's up.
Video or presentation first? Presentation.
No, not that one, that one.
Okay. Good morning, Heather Hurlbert. I'm one of the assistant city managers for the city of Corpus Christi. And so what I have before you today is just an update on the action, on the proposed development, along with what the action was that the city has taken in relation to the creation of the TERS in support of this project. So just a brief overview, this is the project, this is where the project is located. The name of it is Barisi Village. It is 127 acres where the former Fayroe Valley Country Club was and golf course. This is over near TAMU CC, along Ennis Jocelyn, and also close to their Momentum campus. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of the site provided by the developer. So this does go from Ennis Jocelyn across Nile and into where the former golf course area was. Next slide, please. So just a recap of what the proposed development is it's the redevelopment of the former Fayroe Golf Course, or Country Club and Golf Course. And so it is proposed at about 1,300 multifamily units, 210 townhomes, 350 age-restricted units, 57 single-family homes, 120 key hotel, 96,000 square feet of retail space, 1,750 spaces and structured parking garages, a public par 3 golf course, sports courts, and nature preserve. And then this is being built around village plazas, bell tower, wedding chapel, and event space. The estimated timeline for the build-out is 10 to 12 years. And at the conclusion, it is an estimated taxable value of between $800 and $1 billion. Next slide, please. So these are the projects, that's a lot of words and tiny font on a slide, but these are the projects that are being proposed by the developer for inclusion within the TERS. And I'll just briefly go over them. So it is including reimbursement for structured parking. This would only be the public spaces. So on each parking garage, there would be about 100 spaces for a total of about 400 spaces. And so reimbursement for the public portion of the structured parking, the landscaping throughout the development,
wayfinding, signage, and lighting throughout the development, traffic and street improvements, parks and fountains, public restrooms, the village-style public plaza and tower area, supplemental public safety, so this kind of plays into the lighting and site security. The nature preserve, golf and walking trail, and so this would not be necessarily for a golf course, but it would be for the areas around that that would be open to the public, along with public sewage, storm, and water infrastructure throughout the development. Next slide, please. And so how those lay out, this is the total cost per project that would be eligible for reimbursement through the TERS. And so for these public infrastructures of facilities, the reimbursement would not exceed about, estimates about 58.8 or about 59 million. On top of that, there would be $2 million in administrative costs. That is a little bit higher than some of our other TERS, but this will be pretty labor intensive because of the construction phases and stuff going through and making sure that everything is in place. And so what the city council approved was, or did on first reading, is a total amount to be reimbursed by the TERS of about 60.8 million. The developer had requested the 82.6 million, but city council did remove the projects for the financing cost and the inflation allowance as eligible expenses, and so that actually should read 60.8, not 62.8. And so that is where we got to that total of the 60.8 million from the 82, which was originally proposed. And so the city, we took this amount, the 60.8 million, I'm sorry, next slide, there you go. And then based off of the 2023 tax rates, with all tax rates added together to create 100%. This is how it would break out. So of those combined tax rates, the city accounts for about 52% of that those taxes, Nueces County about 25%, and Del Mar College about 23%. So those are the three taxing entities that have been asked to participate. And so you take that 52% for the city and multiply that times the 60.8 million. And so city participation would be estimated about 31 million. We did run that up to 32 million. So in our proposal at first reading, the city's participation would be 32 million. For the county, if you take that 25% and multiply the 60.8 million, that comes out to 15.2 million. The next slide. So as I mentioned, January the 9th, the city council did approve the creation of the TERS on the first reading. And then what we told the developer is that the developer had up to 90 days to secure participation of another taxing entity, whether that be Nueces County or Del Mar College, within that 90 days. And then at that point, we would bring that forward with one of those interlocal agreements for second reading for the creation of the TERS. So we have done the first reading, so we're waiting on one or both of those interlocal agreements to come back and approved by those governing bodies. Once we get that moving too, then we would receive application for TERS board members. We would bring it for second reading of the creation ordinance, so that would create the zone or the tax increment financing zone. Those interlocal agreements, one or both of those, whatever we have at the time, would be approved at that same meeting. The TERS board meetings could be, the TERS board members could be appointed either at that meeting or a subsequent meeting. Then the TERS board would need to approve the project and financing plan. Then it would need to, the project and financing plan has to come back to city council for 2 readings because it is an ordinance. Then we would begin, during that period of time, we would start negotiating that development agreement with the developer. The TERS board would need to approve the developer agreement, and then the city council would need to approve the developer agreement. So that's where we're standing now. I am available for any questions if you have any.
Judge, I do.
Yes, go ahead.
Heather, thank you for your work on this and for meeting with me and the updates and the neighborhood meetings that we've attended. And as I've mentioned all along, the city has been taking the lead. And the last I paid attention to this issue, which we know had been long going, for several years, was that there was some concern from the neighbors, or some neighbors, right? And that seemed to have kind of been resolved now, and that was a big concern for me. And having gone to the public meeting, I guess last month at City Church, we were able to see the input that was there and the amount of people was pretty surprising. It was positive to see that many people attending, and everyone felt that they supported this, they had enough information about this issue. So me, it's not an issue of whether or not to support it, I do. Part of it's in my precinct, part of it's Commissioner Chesney's precinct, we've already established that before. So your next steps that you have for the city, if we agree to follow something like this, do we follow these next steps, or do we fall into your process and procedure?
So you fall into our process of procedure.
Okay.
Since the city creates the zone and the other taxing entities participate through interlocal agreement. And so what the Commissioners Court would need to do is, the next step would be deciding what the participation is, what the county chooses to participate in, and then approving an interlocal agreement, which then that interlocal agreement would come to city council for approval. And we would then amend the TERS, because when we took the TERS for the first reading, it only reflected the city's participation, and so the dollar amount was 32 million. We would then add the dollar amount that the county is choosing to participate at to that ordinance on second reading to then capture that. If in that meantime also Del Mar chooses to participate, we would then also increase that TERS again to include those different dollar amounts. So right now it only reflects the city's participation.
So what's, I see that we would be capped at 1 for the county if we agree to this. What's the number that the city would have as far as representation on here?
So I believe it's only 1, 2. So this is a developer-initiated TERS, so it's very different than like our other TERSs that are created by the city. When those are created by the city, then a lot of times city council is the city council and the other taxing entities make that up. Because this is a developer-initiated TERS, there's different requirements for the board of directors, and it does include primarily landowners versus those governing bodies.
Gotcha. And the county, we've done one similar to this recently, right?
And back in 2020.
Right.
We should have
That was
something
the-
to go by, too.
That was the BOCO.
The BOCO,
in
yeah,
Commissioner
the Bohemian
Gonzalez's
Colony,
area,
yes. The Bohemian Colony TERS, which is number 5. And so this would be very similar to this one in the fact that it was a developer-initiated TERS, and that board has a very different composition than what the city-initiated TERS had.
But this one definitely has traction. I mean, it's working. The other one is kind of on hold, but this one obviously has 10 years at least of backing behind it. So, I mean, that's why we're at this point now that everything's finally kind of settled to that. I know we have some documents before us that show dollar amounts, and I mean, I'm in favor of it, but I definitely want to hear what my colleagues, what the judge had to say on this issue. But I think if all are in agreement, that would make it simple.
Participation,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I've had several meetings too, and I guess that's, I'm in total agreement with this amount not to exceed the 13 million for the county, given the county's situation we're in. I understand we could go to 15, but I know this is just improving. This is great. We aren't the city. The county has other obligations. We only have really one basic funding source. So everyone is very excited about this for our community. We've heard from the members who live out there as well, and I don't think you get any of us that have any fault with this. I would suggest moving forward with this cap, if we could get our county attorney to move forward with this MOU, it would be my motion to move forward today, just with that cap as the only hindrance I have, the 13.
So it would be motion to approve 13 million.
Not to
Contingent,
exceed,
not to exceed,
contingent on
contingent
Jenny working up the paperwork for us.
Tax abatement, though, like, is that like doing a tax abatement for?
It's a percentage, the increment, and it's really nothing unless they build it. I mean, we're not getting anything now, so there's no harm.
Well, we are, but it's what,
Yeah, minimal.
$3,000.
Let's be clear, yes.
$3,000 in value, tax value right now. Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things you would also need to include in that interlocal agreement is what your contribution amount is per year. So while you
Yeah,
can
there is a
cap your
chart
percentage,
down there.
exactly, and so if you want to mirror what the city's participation is, or if you want to propose a different contribution schedule, that would need to be included in that interlocal agreement.
And is this what we have here, this draft MOU, is this what the city's percentages are?
not seen
do you
that,
know?
so I'm not sure what
Or
that
what is
is.
the city's percentage levels and, or whatever?
It's starting out at 95%. I know that there's
For
going to
how
be a
long?
change from the first reading to the second reading. We'd already had everything kind of, we already have everything put together. And so the developer has requested some modification in some of the earlier years. And I'm not sure if they can speak to that a little bit better. The developer can speak to it a little bit better, but we will be changing that. It's just a slight change. We're not changing our dollar amount, but we are changing a little bit the contribution percentage by year. And I'm not sure if that's what was in the MOU or not.
Yeah, the contribution
You need to come to the microphone. Sorry, we can't hear, or people listening in can't hear. Thank you.
Yeah, so the city approved, and I think what we're asking for the county to approve as well is 95% for the first 10 years. So that's tax years 2025 through 2033. And then it decreases by 5% to 90% in 2034, tax year 2034. And then it reduces by 10% every year until 2041. So in 2041, it would be 20% of the tax increment.
Is this kind of a, I mean, who pulls these numbers out? Is this just kind of a standard deal or something?
They
I
ramp
was like,
down,
yes.
and
It's
that's
just what they need to make the deal work.
What
basically.
what the developer asked for then? Yes,
exactly,
okay, okay.
and in aligning
I'm
with
like,
what the
where
city
did these
needs.
come from?
And
Yeah,
it-
so
and-
we took the original proposal from the developer, and then we modified it a little bit to make sure that as we ramp down in the far years, that we're not bringing enough value, because it does affect your truth and taxation calculation.
Yes.
And so we wanted to make sure that does not, a TERS, when it comes back in, does not count as new value. And so it does count against the 3.5% cap. So we wanted to make sure that in those end years, that we were bringing that back into our general fund calculation on a kind of a stair-stepped basis. That's why it ramps down instead of just going from 95 to 0.
And where, do we have that somewhere? I mean, I don't have it in front of me.
It was a handout. Did you not get this?
Oh, the one that,
Just the paper, yeah. I thought Peyton handed it out. Did you not get this? Here, you can have mine. I'm not sure where it came from, but somebody handed it to me this morning. It's like, I'm not
If
sure
that's the
where.
document that we sent to Peyton,
Oh, did you?
it does have those percentages as I read them, yes.
Yeah, I just got that this morning too.
she may have walked in and given it to me when I was doing something else.
I've looked at it. I mean.
Want to make copies?
It's like this.
So it's a 20-year TERS, right?
Yes, it is a 20-year TERS.
Okay, and so it's, okay, 95% for 2025 through 2033.
8 years.
And then it goes
and down.
90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%, 40%, 30%. And then it says, I guess you said it goes down to 20 after that, was what I heard someone say?
Or it
Yeah, I think
goes
it goes
away,
down to-
that's
it should go-
good.
I thought I had this.
Yeah, 20 and then 50, and it just steps down so that as the value grows, the percentage contribution diminishes, so you're still, it's, kind of keeping that level of contribution.
And I think the key to this is, we're getting something from the get-go, right? That's really important, and I think that's different, because some of the TERS I've been involved in, it's been 100% right out of the chutes, and then, like the Island TERS, I think was 100%, and for a long time, so that's, I like this, because we definitely were getting something right away, which is more than what we're getting right now, as it sits there. I'm, you had me at hello, and I don't want to, I couldn't comment earlier when the gentleman was here from the Faro area, and I've struggled watching this for years myself, and I know what it's, I don't struggle near, I'm not trying to say I've struggled like you've struggled, sir. I want to, you thank them for hanging in there. I want to thank you and your neighbors and your friends for hanging in this, because truly, yeah, it's great that Jeff's still here 10 years later, but I mean, all those lawsuits and all the stuff that went on, it's just ridiculous what y'all had to go through to get this project to fruition. So I really appreciate y'all standing there, and I'm glad you still live there, and maybe you're hopefully gonna maybe get to see this actually come to fruition. So, yeah, right. So Heather, my question, let me go back, because this is one of the things that I got a little stuck on, and it's just a makeup. Go back to me on the TERS board, because that was one of the things I wanted to make sure. What I don't like about the TERS that we're involved in is that we're just on a TERS board, but then the city council, no offense, but then the city council, I liked it when I was on the city council. But then the city council has the final approval and the final say. So tell me how this one works differently, because I want the county to be on the
Have
final
voice in
say
this,
part
yes.
of this. So how do we do
So
that?
unfortunately, because the city is the taxing entity that creates the TERS, so everything has to, so the city council is the legislative body that does approve everything. And so if you want to have more say on this, you would probably need to include something in the interlocal agreement that would say that you want some type of review. And I know I talked with the Commissioner Mades and Judge Scott about, as we walk through this, ultimately it's the city council that approves the development agreement because it is the TERS. But I did want to make sure that we do get input from the other taxing entities on any type of milestones or any type of, what y'all want to see in the developer agreement. And so we could put something in the local agreement that would require that developer agreement to come to the county for approval prior to it going to city council for approval. But I think that, because of the way the legal structure is, ultimately the city council is who does those final decisions.
So when this started, I thought it was a developer TERS.
It is.
Okay, so if it's a developer,
Developer initiated
Initiated
TERS,
TERS.
so they petition for the TERS versus the city creating the TERS. So they petition and ask for a TERS. It's still the city is the one that creates the TERS.
so then the board, which they could have petitioned the county, they just chose
Yes.
to petition the city.
Sure.
Fair. So and then what you were saying earlier was something about how the board makeup is.
So the board
tell
makeup
me.
is different in the fact that it is primarily property owners versus governing bodies. And so the city council, unlike our TERS 2, 3, and 4, which were city-initiated TERS, that is the city council along with representatives from the county and the other taxing entities. This will not be that same makeup in the fact that it will not be the whole city council. It'll be by state statute, it has to be there are elected officials from the state level that can participate, or they can send their designee. And then there is the county, I believe will have one seat, and I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head. And technically, I think the city is only participating because we're considered a landowner in the fact that we have the right-of-ways in there. But it is very different makeup than what the city created or initiated TERS are.
And it's different because
Because the developer petitioned it.
for
There's different statutes. While it operates the same, the board of directors had, within the statute, if it's a developer petition TERS, it has a different board makeup.
And so, but you said the TERS is made up primarily of the landowner.
Yes,
That's a
and their
little
designees.
Not Jeff, but that's a little self-serving.
No,
It's kinda-
exactly.
Right? I mean, isn't that a little,
That's the difference between the way the statute reads.
wow. So if I'm a developer, I'm gonna wanna petition for TERS because I'm gonna get to kind of control. how-
Possibly, but it still has to be approved by the city council, so it's still.
What has to be approved though? Anything they spend?
Anything they do, yes, still has to, so the TERS, project and financing plan still has to be approved by, the board can approve changes to the project and financing plan, but it still has to be approved by city council. Development agreement can be negotiated through the board, but it still has to be approved by city council.
And this is one of the reasons, I'm sorry, but just to clarify, this is one of the reasons why I had mentioned to the judge, I wanted to get this out early, right? So that we
Because
could
we have
chew on
some
it, we can hear it.
tweaking that we
And if
want
there's anything that we
Jenny
need
to
to go
add.
back and address, that we give ourselves some time and still allow the council to take whatever action they need to. But for them to hear us out, for Mr. Blacker to hear us out, and then see if anything needs to be changed. Maybe we're okay with this, maybe a majority of the court is, but that's why I wanted to bring this forward, because it was different, it's so complex, and it's a different animal, it is.
It is a different animal,
It
yes.
definitely is a different animal, so, as far as the community being more active, and I think we all want to support that, but I think wanting to have at least one voice on a final approval body, whatever that makeup is, I think that's
Including that.
probably what I would support. I'm not asking for it, right? But anyone on the court that would want to, I'd like to see at least one person that has a final authority, or, I mean, I know agreements that are made now are, may not be honored in the future by future councils unless it's written or unless it's included in the interlocals. So Jenny, I don't know if you would need to discuss this further in executive session, or maybe give us an opinion on how that works. I mean, I'm ready to act on it now, but if there are questions about the makeup of the board, that's why we brought it today instead of waiting.
I think that's a good, that the owners are involved in it, because that way they know what they're getting. I mean, they know exactly what they want, not what we want, you know, so I think it's, you know, good to hear from the owners, and, you know, and of course, they have to get the final approval of the city, but it's still good to hear from the owners and they have a voice, which most of the time they don't have a voice. So, so I think it's good. This developer, is that the same one that tried to develop in North Beach?
Well, I think it's less concerning because there's only
No,
one
I'm
land.
asking a question.
Yeah.
Is this developer the same
agreeing with
one that tried to develop North Beach at one time?
Same one.
There was a one that, yes, he did have they had a proposed hotel, which hasn't moved forward.
Yeah.
I like the addition and possibly Jenny adding that in just where it comes to us too, so we're aware, even if the city has the final say, adding that into ours, I'm ready to move forward if we just added
Yeah.
something like that in
I would,
there.
that's what I was gonna suggest, is if we
That's
could
what
put
I
some
would
teeth into
suggest,
some more
yeah.
teeth into your motion, Judge.
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm not familiar with this kind of TERS, because I've not done one like this. All I've done is the other standard ones. And so I'd like to move, Commissioner Modas and the judge, and I'm sure everybody else they've spoken, is I'd like to move forward, send the signal to the city council that hopefully we're in support of this, but at the same time, really work on the legal minutia on how we can be as involved as possible long-term. So I'd like you to go review those statutes and make that part of the motion, if that's okay with the judge.
I agree.
Because we're spending our money too, and I get the statute, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, but I think everybody who's spending money ought to have as much say as anybody else who's spending money, or as much as the law provides. So Jenny.
I agree.
I agree.
And I was gonna say, and the great thing with the interlocal, while that doesn't have to necessarily go with the statute, but you could put those conditions in there. And I'm not speaking from a legal perspective. I'll let Jenny handle that, but.
And this
you
one's
can
less
do that.
concerning because there's only one developer and there's only one person asking for reimbursement, but still,
Exactly.
if we're gonna do these going forward, then we're kind of setting a precedent. And so I kind of want to get this as part of our precedent that, hey, if someone comes in and wants this, and maybe it's not one developer next time, it's multi-developers like oftentimes it is, that we have something in place that just says, hey, we have as much legal say as we can, so.
It
But
looks
I
like
think it's a
Jeff
great
maybe wants
concept, great
to
idea,
say
and I'm ready to
something.
support it.
If you want the microphone, sorry.
Yes, Jeff Blackard, 401 Adriatic Parkway, McKinney, Texas. It's
If you can lift that up, speak into the microphone, sorry, you have a light voice there.
I just kind of want to simplify this because once a TERS is in place, then we set up a board. The numbers are already allocated. She has all the different categories. We put phase one in. Let's just say it's a $150 million project. Of that $150 million, some of it's storm sewer, some of it's sanitary sewer, all these different things. The TERS board gets together and say, yes, it fits the outline of the TERS. Here are the numbers. And then they approve it, whoever's on the board. Then it goes to the city council, and then they approve it again. So it's not like the board can just go do whatever they want to do and spend money any way they want to. It's already outlined in there, which would, and if we change what's in there to allocate it for other things that's not listed, then it has to come back to all agencies, and then they would have to approve it to move forward to change anything that's not already outlined in the TERS.
I think everyone here agrees, and I think the only hindrance and the reason we're all going back to this is a very different, and it's made up of the landowners around or whatever, and as a participating party, if we could get just some little clause in there in our interlocal, if our county attorney can find something in there, where it's maybe not necessarily approval, you just have to inform us and let us know, because then we can go to the city people, or we can go to your our TERS board members and say whether we can voice our opinions there and tell them, I don't know about this may be not a good idea. But not having a say and contributing even on this level, to me, is not an avenue that we want to go down. Yeah.
And we would
Judge, you
ask
wanna-
that you just keep this on the agenda so that as we do have developments, we can bring it back to the court as a whole.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And Judge, if you want to restate your motion, because I'm not really sure Lorenzo has that either.
Yeah, I
certainly
know.
don't.
I was like, I would make the motion with a direction to our county attorney to move forward with the interlocal agreement between the city of Corpus and Nueces County for the participation in this TERS number 6, capping our participation at 13 million, and possibly with the direction of the attorney adding some wording to where it would, any payments out of there that, the county would be included since we won't be on the TERS board. Yes. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? Sorry.
I think that's clear enough.
Yeah.
We just want to be as have
Just
much
to
say as
start,
possible.
but we're all in unison about going forward with this, yes. And
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Just to, again, thank the developer, the homeowners.
Absolutely.
And I know, I haven't had any conversations with either of you, just for the record, because I know Judge Scott and Commissioner Matas were taking kind of the lead on this, working with them, and that's, Jeff called me and I said, I don't know, because I can't talk to them. So, you got to talk to them, but this is a great project, and I think it's really going to be a huge benefit to this community and a huge benefit to this area. And as the gentleman said earlier, it is way long overdue, so.
We agree. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Thank you all for being here today. Moving on to item D, purchasing. Discuss and consider conditional selection of Galls LLC for law enforcement uniforms and related matters.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? D2, discuss and consider conditional selection of Frontier K2 for solid waste collection at coastal parks and coastal parks funds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The motion passes. Thank you very much.
Good job, Michael. Way to go.
Yeah. Way to blast through.
So the thanks goes to my staff.
I
Again,
knew you had to speak. I knew you couldn't stand up there and not say something. I don't blame you, man.
Jason Parker, Melinda, Cheryl, Croxton, Melinda Malone.
Are we at the Gram-
They
we at
all
the
do a
Grammys
great
or
job
the
for
Emmys?
me. Yes.
We're at the Grammys or the Emmys right now. I want to thank my mother and my father.
Well, you guys get to thank people all the
I
time, and so
know.
occasionally,
Go
I'd like to
ahead,
take
Mike,
that
go ahead,
opportunity,
go ahead.
and also the folks in Jenny's office that assist us well. That's why these things come to you with all the information that you need so that you can make a decision with all the facts in front of you. So again, thank you to all of those folks.
Okay,
Thank you, Mike.
and on the next item, I think Dr. Cannon thought we were going to break, and he would like to be here for his next item on the human resources. So I will bring it back after executive. That's okay. No, he
Forrest is
texted
here.
earlier, and we told him we weren't sure when we were going to break, so he will be back after lunch, so we'll bring it back.
I mean,
Just y'all don't let me forget.
Do we need him? Is that going to be controversial?
We can go ahead and see.
I mean, it's a zero
E1,
additional
it's
cost.
a salary savings. Discuss and consider the reorganization plan which eliminates one vacant senior records clerk position and downgrades the chief medical examiner investigator's position to a regular investigator, and the salary savings will be used for temporary employees and salary increases for those employees performing additional or more duties. And there is zero additional cost, and have you and Melinda verified this annually? Sometimes that's the question that we get. We're doing these salary savings because we have money, and then next year it costs us money. The salary savings by deleting this position and deleting the others are gonna be the total cost per year savings.
Yes, Judge, based on the documentation that's been presented, it is supported by Human Resources.
Dale, will you verify that as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I make a motion to pass based on zero additional cost, and this follows the court's policies.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 And I'm still going to abstain because it's passing because I made that stupid promise that I wasn't gonna do this. So sorry, everybody, but I just believe, increasing salaries and stuff should be done, everybody together. But I'm not opposed, thank you, just abstain. Now we are going to go into executive session. I didn't miss anything on the agenda, did I, Teresa? You're giving me a look. Public notice is given that the Commissioners Court may elect to go into an executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda when authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. To the extent there has been a past practice of distinguishing items for public deliberation and those for executive session, the public is advised that the court is departing from that practice and reserves the right to discuss any listed agenda item in executive session when authorized by law to do so. In the event the Commissioners Court goes to executive session regarding an agenda item, the section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorizing the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer. In accordance with the authority of Government's Code, Vernon's Texas Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.0745, 551.076, 551.086, 551.087. The Commissioners Court will hold an executive session to consult with attorneys, including matters related to litigation, deliberate regarding real property, prospective gifts, personnel matters, including termination, county and advisory bodies, security devices, and/or economic development negotiations, and other matters that may be discussed in an executive session. Upon completion of the executive session, the Commissioners Court may, in an open session, take such actions as appropriate on items discussed in the executive session. Item A, consult with the county attorney and outside counsel on legal matters related to cause number 2022 CCV 61337-4, Maria Krostoff versus Nueces County Court at Law 4, and related matters, Texas Government Code 551.071. Item B, consult with the county attorney and outside counsel on legal matters related to cause number 2220 CV 00263, David Longoria, individually and on behalf of the estate of David Johnson, deceased, versus Nueces County, Texas, in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, and related matters. Take action in same open session, Texas Government Code 551.071. Item C, consult with the county attorney regarding a hospital district board of managers appointee continuation and related matters, 551.071. Item D, discuss and consider the appointment, employment, evaluation, and reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the Nueces County department heads, today being the county airport, public works, and grants department heads as scheduled, 551.074. And let me clarify on that, that is just wording, that is not meant to sound as harsh as it sounds. And then we are pulling in into item D6 from the consent agenda on the payment, discuss and consider, Susan Roth payment on item 6. Where is it at? I can't find it, and that would be 551.071. So it is 12:27, and we are going to executive. Thank you. It is 4:13, and we are back from executive session. I will go back to consent agenda, item D6. We'll accept a motion for payment. I'll make the motion to pay item D6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes. And item B on the the executive session, I believe.
B,
Yes. A
I can
motion.
make a motion to deny and order the council to continue negotiations to bring back to court.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes.
Judge, if the court would allow, I'd like to cast aye votes for items 4 and 5 on the regular agenda.
Oh, had you stepped out?
Yeah, I'd stepped out.
Okay.
For the global spectrum issue and for the MOU with A&M Corpus Christi.
On the regular agenda, items 4 and 5, please.
And item 6 as well, the ratifying the donation from Nueces County Robstown Community Center for Winter Storm.
Oh, accepting, yes,
Yes,
uh-huh.
the
The 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6, yes.
Please show Commissioner Mottos voting aye on those, yes.
4, 5, and 6, the regular agenda?
Yes.
Yes, I had missed
The
those.
incentive fee spectrum, global
No.
spectrum, the memorandum
No,
of
okay.
understanding, and accepting donations from the winter storm, yes.
Cast all, for all the other votes, did you show that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any other items on the agenda that we have failed to do or I need to go back to that I've skipped over, guys? I don't think there is, and I will accept some adjournment and memories. Do we have any adjournments in memory today?
No.
Then I will accept a motion to.
But we have to do we do C or no?
No, we don't have anything to do with that. She is doing that on her own, yes. Mhm. So then I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion. I will second that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It
Just kidding,
is
just kidding. Aye.
4:16, and we are adjourned.